Always is. Always is. It probably isn't it, actually. Still have 3 more exits to get through, possibly. Hopefully it saved. Indeed it did. Doesn't really matter to get that, though, because I'm immediately going to the cape room. I felt like I had a pretty good rapport with the cape room. No molehill. Make a mountain out of that shit. Alright, cape time. I'm not terribly capable, so this is going to take a little bit to get back into the flow of it. But we'll get there. I'm competent. Well, confident. Not necessarily competent, but confident that I will make this eventually. Oh, what's up, Prestinator? If I'd waited 5 minutes, you could have rated. Oh, darn. Yeah, no worries. These things happen. Thank you for thinking of me, at least. Nah, I usually don't get started earlier just because I end up getting distracted and having to do a few extra things on Thursdays. But one of these days, I'll actually start before midnight on a non-scheduled stream. Just not a day soon. So glad someone clued me into the press X to twirl as well as Y. How was your stream anyway? What were you up to? Was it some sort of Kaizo or? Right, just let go. Practicing something else, QLDC levels. There's always plenty of options out there. To the man who keeps running into the roof. Yeah, last time I felt like I spent like an hour or so on this particular cape level. Never quite got the consistency I needed for certain parts. See if I can remedy that today. Groove here, up here. Not by twirl too early. Good, got out of exit 8 on elephants. Oh, nice. That's a hack. Hack and a half. I forget, is that the one that ends with the dragon? Is that the one that's the Mega Man inspired one? Or I can't keep my trio of animals morsel hacks all straight, to be honest. There's at least 2 of them. Possibly a third, I'm not really sure. Alright, here we go, we're in newish territory. Nope. Mega Man inspired dragon, okay. And yeah, I know roughly which one. It's got that, is that the one with ships made cities? Because I know that that's the level people fear. One of the levels people fear. Morsel inspires a lot of emotions in people, but mostly fear. Still wonder if he's actually French. Don't know why my theory is that he is French. I think I saw him put his name in a funny way once and thought, hey, maybe he's French, but no. Don't actually know most of the level names. That's fair. I don't remember if it's that one that has that gimmick, or if it's the other one where all of the level names are quotes from Shakespeare. But I don't actually know. My Shakespeare isn't all that good either. Dang it, I just barely glanced at it with my feet. There was a fun set of mystery on puzzles that were Mega Man themed, and one of the rounds, effectively, was Stagecraft Bot and Stagecraft Man. And the shtick of that particular round was that every single answer in that round... No! My twirling! I don't know what's going on. It might have crashed. Yeah, it's okay. I hadn't made any progress anyway. Interface broke? Yeah, interface is broke. Oh, nope, interface isn't broken. That happens. Yeah. Honestly, if I was actually worried about it, I would probably do something. Like disable it for the time being, but eh. Oh, right. But I was gonna turn on Safe Char. Let me do that, and then we'll put up Malo. Exit. Safe Char. For some reason, it's often safer to do this on the overworld. I'm not exactly sure why. Some hacks I can get away with it, but other hacks it's kind of hit or miss. And some hacks I just can't change mid-level. Marissa World was one of those. Like, if I changed mid-level, it generally crashed. There must be some patch someone has out there that makes a difference, but I couldn't tell you which one it is. Nope. What's up, Joopy? That death sound effect? Yeah. I've kind of tuned it out. People complain periodically about the Megalovania, but I've tuned it out at this point. It's kind of like the one song from from the Zelda 2. Like, I got used to hearing it so much that I just stopped hearing it. Probably doesn't hurt that my audio's on so low. So audio songs and stuff don't bug me nearly as much as it might bug someone who's wearing headphones, for instance. Every once in a while I do play a game with headphones when it's necessary, but most of the time it's not. I just keep the audio on low enough I don't get an echo. At least I don't think I get an echo. But for some PC games where there's no, like, subtitles, I sometimes have to turn on or go set up my headphones with the egregiously long wire. So I can go take it from the receiver all the way to my sitting spot. I think I need to dive there. What death sound? So when I die properly in this, and I'll just do it for the sake of demonstrating. You get that. The one hack you'll never beat. I remain optimistic, Fries. I remain optimistic. Oh, how you doing? I was just looking at Discord and I was like, oh, did Fries get back to me about his PDF extraction stuff? And no, he didn't, so... Because I have useful advice, but I don't know how useful it would be given what you're doing and what country you live in. But PDFs are stupid. They're not very good containers. Still thinking? Okay. But yeah, depending upon your answers, I might be able to push you in better directions. Though the biggest thing is like for work, what we do is we pay a third-party company to do the extraction, and they have some like machine learning or various heuristics to figure out how to extract certain things. But we are dealing with PII data, and we are in America dealing with Americans' PII data, which makes it okay. The laws around like data handling in Europe are more complicated, and I don't know them because I'm not European and don't care. And if it ever mattered for my website, I'd just ban all the European IPs. Because it's way easier than actually understanding and fixing it. But given I'm not like selling anybody anything, I don't think it matters too much. Just ads, but you know. It's a new area, it's hard to formulate your idea. Gotcha. All good. Always feel free to ask questions. I may or may not have useful answers, but feel free to ask them. One of my favorite things about being in the labs in school was just you could ask random people useful things, and usually get useful answers back. Especially if someone had taken the class like a quarter before and still remembered things. And being one of those people who could answer useful questions. Especially vis-a-vis Verilog sometimes. Oh, Verilog. You are a terrible language. But so much better than doing everything by hand. I think I'm still pissed off about the signed wires thing, and it's already been, you know, it's been more than 10 years. Ah, dang it. Cool, excellent. In the meantime, cape. I'm trying to think of what else cool has happened since, like, yesterday. Oh yeah, it does that. I forgot that it has crashing problems in this level, but it doesn't affect it because it catches the exception. Me and Snyder beat Siberia too, and the game kind of fell off the rails at the end. It was really weird. The best part was when we accidentally solved a puzzle. We had one item in our inventory, we were looking at a nest of penguin eggs, and decided we should put the Matryoshka doll. The Russian nesting doll. Dang it. In the nest of penguins. Penguin eggs. And we didn't have a reason to do this, we simply saw a spot where we could use this item, and so felt obligated to do so. It did solve the problem that we didn't know we had yet. But yeah, that game went off the rails near the end. Apparently the third one doesn't have the same author involved, which makes a lot of sense, because it kind of felt like the whole thing was pretty wrapped up at the end of the second game. We made it to Siberia. The man got to see his mammoths. How far did I get in Final Fantasy III? I got through Eureka. So I got my awesome jobs, I got all of my awesome swords. Completely done with that part, and I did not attempt to ascend the tower yet. Ascend it properly. But I also went and got myself outside of the labyrinth because I wanted to go and do a little bit of shopping outside first. I'm probably going to burn a lot of money on high potions and whatnot. But I also want to just get access to summons since I could use them and they seem like they're fun. But I have all the best summons, I just don't have all the other summons. Oh right, gotta dive. Nope. I feel there's one more stream. We'll see if that's correct. And if it happens that I manage to complete it in like less than the allotted time I have allotted for that particular stream, we'll either find something else to do or I'll get started on Final Fantasy II. One or the other. Started looking at translations, and it looks like there's only 2 of them. There was the OG one from way back in the day, and there's one that uses some of the GBA's translation, but it still uses the same like core source code and tools. The key difference is the newer one adds B button dash. So I'm kind of tempted to get that one, just to have a little bit of nicety in a game that I understand has otherwise very little in the way of niceties. But we'll see. Need to message Desi about doing it again next Wednesday. I think he fell asleep partway through. Not that I blame him. Dude does... Twitch is hard. I still cannot believe he's doing, like, consistently lengthy streams the way he does. I need to pull out of that dive later. But like 20-hour streams doing heavy randomizers is just... It's a lot for a person. The respect. But honestly, he has enough things requested, I might just make it a fixture for a while, Desi Wednesdays. Provided I can keep up the pace and it works for him. Nope. 3-hour streams exhaust you? You have no idea how it does it? Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Faro? Casually throws out 12 to 16 hours. Yeah, I don't understand. I've done that like a few times. Like little chat hacks used to be like 9, 10-hour streams. And just thinking about it makes me want to go just take a nap. But yeah, much after 6 hours, I get a lot less useful, I find. There's a certain point where I'm just like, man, I have talked about everything I can possibly talk about in the context of whatever the hell I'm doing here, what I plan to do, what I have done. I need at least some time to decompress, you know, read a book, listen to some other people, that sort of thing. Come on. Like, I'm consistently getting further than I was before. Okay, I think I need to bob there once, but I need to be careful about it. Dedication, love for the craft. What's up, Steven? It takes a lot of work. Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, if Desi did all the other things other full-time streamers did too, I don't think he'd have time to sleep. Like, say, Juz or Grand Pooh Bear. You know, people who at least initially edited their own YouTube stuff and handled social media and things. Desi just shows up and streams off Discord. Definitely an easier way of going about it compared to an awful lot of others. With a lot less of background work. Though I'm certain he does a lot of background work. Like, he's usually doing some legwork to figure out how to get another game to work, or how something's gonna function on a stream, getting emotes made. Not saying he's not doing that kind of thing, I'm just saying it's not the same editing class of work, which is just so tiring. Nope. Done 10 to 12 out co-op streams with Nathan. Always want to fly to England and kill him. When you want to fly in the greater part of Europe, and hurt your co-op partner, don't forget, there's always Ryanair. The cheap way to fly when you need to hurt a guy. You don't need luggage when you're flying Ryanair for the purposes of violence. Makes everything really simple. I do not advocate either violence or flying Ryanair. No, I need to pull out there. Not touching Ryanair. You're okay? Applied for Dollar General, opened in town like 2 weeks ago, and it related to your situation. Wished you a lot of luck in getting hired. Cashier asked about it related. Okay. Especially after finding out you missed a couple of other jobs contacting you about your application because for whatever reason voicemail was off on your phone carrier side? Oh, that's bullshit. Not touching Ryanair. Good call. I once read a post on like Reddit. I forget what Reddit subreddit it was, but it had to do with how like the reason why Canadians don't have very much violence is because you have to put a lot of work into it. If you want to like hurt your neighbor, you have to like get your car warmed up, and if your car is not warmed up and won't start now, you have to call your neighbor to go and do that. You can't really call your neighbor over to kick his ass, and so eventually you just end up watching, you know, hockey and drinking beer and having a good old time anyway. It was cliche, but amusing. Right. Yeah, I would definitely make sure that's working. Like, get a hold of a friend and get him to call you and make sure your voicemail is working. Or set up a third-party service for that kind of thing. Google Voice used to be free, I think, but I don't know if it is anymore. They bug me every once in a while to use my number or else I'll lose it, and I always, like, make one phone call to myself. My free number, dang it, I'm not giving it up yet. Never asked them to do this, would you like that by default? I mean, I think an awful lot of people don't set up voicemail as much as they used to. Not terribly surprising. But in the era of all the phone spammers we live in now, it's kind of important to. Like, I usually don't even bother with most numbers I don't recognize except the door when I'm expecting somebody. And thankfully, most companies that actually want your business will bother to leave a voicemail. That cannot have been the right solution, but it worked. I think what I should do there is just hold back, and I'll land on the Koopa, and then be able to fly over, is what it's telling me to do, and I'm not doing it. Like, that's where I was getting stuck last time, was on that Koopa section, and the thing right thereafter. But I wasn't consistently getting that far. I was constantly getting hit up by the Spinies. This I'm clearing at least half the time. So, you know, I'm feeling good about my odds now. I was feeling good about this odds. First phones, you had no idea. Oh, that's fair. I vaguely remember having to do that on my first phone. But since I've been with the same carrier almost every... I've only really had two... I've only ever had two carrier contracts, now I think about it. I had the one I got on Singular back in the day, when Singular still existed, which was a pay-as-you-go phone that I didn't use very much because I had to pay as I went. And the iPhone one that I got a long, long time ago. So if something just stops working, it's a bit of a surprise. Dive bomb and hold back and you hit the Koopa? I'll try that next time. I think just holding back will let me hit the Koopa. I don't think I need to dive bomb. I just need to make it there again. Which is a pain. What's bugging me about phones is that the phone systems... Ah, crap, I didn't need that extra bop. Seem to be getting worse. Like, caller ID used to work consistently, and now it's so spotty. In part because an awful lot of companies figured out annoying phone tricks. But... in the last few days, chatting with ʎৰীষ্টρό̃νθ. Got a port? Oh, nice. I heard something I thought would be an awesome, like, end-of-level theme the other day. Though I'd have to, like, actually learn how to to port or convince someone to port it if I ever wanted it. Turns out in Japan, like, certain trains have jingles when they arrive, and they sound awesome. And this one just sounds like it'd be an absolute perfect end-of-level theme. Just about the right length. Ends in kind of a fuzzy sound, but I think that'd be fine. You might have to use samples for it. But still, it sounds like it'd be cool. I was appreciating the end-of-level theme that was in Tired Mario when I was watching GlitchCat play that the other day. Which is the, like, DIC. DIC. What do you even call those things? Like, end credits? Like, it's where the producers of something, like, just put the little producer card. Like, on Aqua Teen, they tell you, it's a good show! And other such things. Dang it. Got your hands on some Pizza Tower middies and having some ideas? Oh, awesome. What's up, Curtis? How you doing? End card. Yeah, that sounds right. Moderation's going well. I kind of hit this brick wall last time. So this particular level is 7 levels in one. You have this sort of entry part where there's a long bunch of message boxes discussing the philosophy and how this hack was made, the time it took, and all that. And then there's 6 challenge rooms, each of which seems relatively long. So the only 2 I made any serious headway in are this one and the mole one. My basic goal is to beat this one. I'm not very good at Cape. If I can beat this one, I'm going to be happy. Yeah. But it's how it is. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Making progress, though. Sometimes we're making progress, but I don't get too distracted. Still amazes me that as a class of Mario player who just loves this kind of stuff. And I know this level's cheating for me. Like, it's definitely giving me more capability than I should have naturally. But even so. Like, looking at this, I don't think there's any way for me to cheat past this either, even if I wanted to. Like, I think turning on swimming probably wouldn't work. But would have to see if I got there. I don't really want to cheat at it, though. So I don't think I will. That's sort of the end of that sentence. What's nice is the first section, if I do it right, I can actually read chat during it without dying too much more often. Nope. Doing pretty good? Excellent. More capability or more cape-ability. Exactly. I think I even mentioned that in one of the QLDC, 72-hour QLDC things, was like, this requires more capability than I think is reasonable. It was a cute level. It had to do with, like, it had that weird, like, not correct scrolling thing, where Layer 2 is moving a lot slower than Layer 1, that people always say came from Grand Poo World 2, though it definitely didn't. It was a really pretty level, like, very Vaporwave kind of look. But it was not for me, because I'm not that good at Cape. So we just kind of swam across it and appreciated it for what it was, and its majesty. Cannot believe I failed it. Turning on star power could work into spin flight. I think I wouldn't be able to get into... I think these are instant death blocks. So even turning on star power wouldn't do me much good, because just touching them is death. This hack has definitely used both munchers and death blocks, so... It's a good idea. I think swimming is probably the most likely thing to work. But you can also see, like, the level is pushing me forward to some extent. Wait, what am I doing? Doing good, making some grilled cheese and gaming a little. Oh, nice. I even thought about, like, buying stuff to make grilled cheese today. It's like, man, that sounds tasty. Then I'm like, oh, if I did that today, I'm going to be going to D&D tomorrow. So there's no point, because we're going to get food there. And then the day after, I'm going to my friend's all-day brunch thing. And so it's like, why would I get the stuff for it if I'm just not going to be eating it for a couple days? It's not worth a trip to the store for it. But I think sometime this week I'm gonna get me some tomato soup, some proper bread, maybe a different kind of cheese. I currently have some nice hard cheddar in my fridge, but that's all I have in my fridge in terms of cheeses. we go. Up and over. Okay, no, that didn't work. How long's this section? I think I'm close to the end once I get past the section past the Koopas. But I don't have an exact notion of how long it is. Like, I'm going pretty fast, and so 1F screens is going to go really quick. I suspect this is approximately 1F screens long, but I'm not entirely sure. Can't wait to chew through these last 3 commissions and then just relax. Oh, nice. Lava block shaped. That actually might happen. Just letting people know that you do commissions might put you in danger of having to do more work that gives you money. Come on. Right, don't go for the dive. Alright, I'm gonna try Fry's idea, which is diving properly, rather than being dumb. That's 31 screens long? Yes. Yeah, when I say 1F, I think actually it's 32 screens long. I think it starts counting them at 0. But they go from 0 to 1F, so 31, 32, depending on how you're counting them. Length or count, or offset or count, I guess. These things matter. And are a good way to introduce security problems into your programs by mixing them up. Alright. Don't do that. I'm gonna go with a Fry strat of just big dive there. I might be a little late. Oh no, I'm not. Nope, big dive didn't work. What's up, well-known vintage? How you doing? We are just caping. I've been caping for the last approximately 30 minutes. Holy cow, time has flown. No pun intended. Yes, we did have a restart due to things breaking. And a little bit of that, but still, even with the start of stream startup stuff, not taking that long. Maybe one day I'll be good at cape and actually understand what I'm doing properly. A little late. Nope. Out of bot. Doing good, gonna play some SMW. Nice. Any particular hack or training for a speedrun thing, or... Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought it was underneath that. I'm losing consistency. Play this hack, it's a lot of fun to get to this part. Careful. Back up. Over. It's really very warm. It was odd as I turned the heater off. Not really complaining. It's better to be warm than cold. Okay. Keep getting there. Cape is so nuanced when you really get to it, it's basically it's on top again. Yeah. No, it really is. Like, cape hacks and shell hacks are kind of their own thing, even in the category of Kaizo. Like, some people will never really want to spend time mastering cape stuff. Don't blame them. Or, like, the massive number of, I'm just gonna jump on, like, 80 shells and that's the entirety of the level, good luck. Things that shell levels are. Or the assorted thumb shredder things. Like, we have all of those, like, tiny genres of Kaizo that also are, like, kind of like the myriad... Dang it! Of, genres of electronic music or metal. Is it Symphonic Death Shell? It might just be. Dang it. That part where you press left once, but do it too quickly. Still have not found that episode of The Simpsons I keep wanting to quote about the spinning. Speaking of which, this is some nice parallax. Look at this. I kind of wonder if this background was ripped from Soul Blazer, because I feel like I've seen it before in Soul Blazer. Like during one of the final fights against Death Toll. Might be wrong. But there's probably an awful lot of other games that use some similar looking cloud structures just because there's only so many ways you can actually do that kind of thing. Oh, tile engines. They're so much different than once you get actual rasterizers. We're playing Siberia, and we moved the train at one spot. And Snyder thought that the train would still be there, or wouldn't allow us to go back to an area once we had moved the train from it. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's just going to use layers. Just going to, like, the train is on its own layer, and it composites it. Because that's just, like, what Final Fantasy VII did, and they're using similar tools to make Siberia, at least they would have been at the time. Would not surprise me if, given its general look, it was rendered on an SGI workstation. Or using similar tools. But I have no proof either way. A bit late for it, I suppose, but they did come out in, like... I guess the first one came out in 2022? Be a bit late for that, I suppose. It does make me wonder what professional workflows looked like more back then, during the transition between, like, heavy Pro Tools and... let's just throw Blender at it. Like, I think Trespasser used 3D Studio Max. I cannot believe I keep tipping that. Cape scares you. It's fair to be scared of it. I cannot believe I keep coming in at the wrong height for that. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be making sub-chapters for these, once I get around to actually processing the VOD. Did the one for the hack I moderated on Monday. Didn't take that long. I was actually pretty happy with that. Put that out today. Need to send the hacker a message about the soft lock and some suggestions. But really, I just needed to fix the soft lock. That's the only thing standing between that and being accepted. If I didn't find that soft lock, I would have just accepted it as is and given him some suggestions for later. But once you find a soft lock, you're kind of obligated. Cape is tough, most of the time, but fun. Speaking of unique usernames, you just saw I have pooped before. Fair. I doubt I'll see something like that anytime soon. Some people choose really unique names. Others do that. Wonder if that's a actual person or... dang it. Something akin to another Man of Steel account. I'd like to believe your username is unique. It probably is. I mean, one of those things you can kind of Google it. PatCDR is almost unique, except for, like, two things. One, it's occasionally used as an example for, like, Lisp programs. And two, there's some sort of government job that classifies itself as the PatCDR. And I have no idea what it is. But I'm tempted to apply for it because I'm definitely qualified. Oh, I just... My other usernames, not as much. But I don't really have to use those anywhere. Or anymore, frankly. Childhood usernames are always kind of bad, suffering from the AOL-ness of them. Gotta throw some numbers on there so everyone knows exactly which number you are. Oh, and I'm fine. Have an idea of where the username PatCDR comes from? You've got a good guess. Your guess is probably correct, honestly. I may have even mentioned its initial, one of the things in his class. And I've said it before on stream, it does have to do with Lisp. It's one of the two important Lisp, List-E instructions. There's the car and the cdr. And the card gives you the head of the list, and CDR gives you the rest of it. And the reasons for why they're called that are debatable, and go back to like Symbolics Lisp machines or something. But no one actually truly knows, apparently. There we go. Yours was really cringe as a kid? Yeah. It happens. But that's the great thing about it is, like, you get a normal email address when you go to university, or just pick one on Gmail or one of the other respectable providers. Or even just your own domain nowadays. It's not even that expensive if you do it through Google. Pick a reasonable domain type, register through them, get the Google apps for domains. It probably costs you about 20 bucks a month, which isn't nice, or not 20 bucks a month, less than 20 bucks a month. I think I gotta keep in the dive there. Probably amortized about 10, less than 10. Because if you're only running one email account off of a domain, it's not that expensive. But still. There we go. Just thought of Pat CDR literal compact disc. Yep. Yep. People think that. Or Pat Commander's another one I've heard a lot of. And I personally don't care exactly which pronunciation people use or which origin they suspect it is. It's perfectly fine as long as it's close enough. As long as it's actually a good chunk of my name pronounced roughly how it's spelled, regardless of however they get to it. I think I've even heard Pat Cheddar once, which, you know, you could do worse. You could really do worse. But it's a bit cheesy. Eh? Whatever I did there was a complete accident, and I have no... Oh, no. What? Crap. Pat Coder? I'm enjoying this, actually. Pat Coder's actually pretty good, too. Now, the funny thing is, I don't actually code that much Scheme, or Lisp, or any sort of those languages. Every once in a while I'm tempted to do so, but usually I just end up reaching for Python. Just easier. And I can do enough functional stuff in Python to scratch that itch. I do so many slices and list comprehensions and maps and filters and all that other stuff. Passing bound functions around. All sorts and manners of awful functional programming things. Okay, that was closer. What does CDR mean? Well, it depends upon who you ask. So a CDR is a fundamental command in the Lisp and Scheme family of languages, which gets you the rest of a list. Basically, everything that's not a primitive in Lisp is a cons cell, which means it contains a value, and then a pointer to the next cons cell, which can be null, and often is. Also, they're not guaranteed to be proper lists. They can be graphs, they can be trees, they can be all sorts of things. But car gets you the value out of a cons cell, and CDR gets you the value, gets you the list part, list pointer. And some packages of this language have also added more convenient ways of using these, such as first and rest. But it's one of those, like, you gotta use the old school ones. And the nice thing is, of course, is that you can use any combination of these particular letters, the A and the D. So like Cadador is also probably is usually valid. C-A-D-D-A would be a valid. C-A-D-D-A-R, yeah. C-D would be a valid instruction, which says to get like the first part of the list, then the rest of the list, and then the rest of the list, and then the first thing from that list. So, needless to say, it can get to be unreadable super quickly, but that's how they like it. Just like Perl people. They take pride in the sort of way the language is made, and using it to its fullest extent of the law. But the one I've always heard was current decrement register, and the A is current acclement register. Crap, I can't pronounce it right and fly. Oh, and I keep tipping in. So, SQL greater than Python? No. Cars are in programming, yes. Cars are in programming. Programming's in cars, too. I forgot to read that other part. Next time I die. It's getting far in. I've gotten to a point where, like, none of the other Spinies are dangerous, but that one's still screwing me. And I'm getting that particular obstacle most of the time by coming in a little bit higher. What does it want from me? Be surprised how much programming is done in the Tesla car, for example. There's one post to how fucked they're... Yeah, there's a lot. A lot. And everything. I also missed it. Used to be Far the Pig Man, and people kept shortening my username to Fart, and you got angry. You know, that's fair. That's fair. I do always love reading long strings of letters the way they're not meant to be read. There's an old, like, bash.org quote, which is like, Jamie, or Jesse, with girlfriend who is hot, when it's all one word, and he's like, wait, he shot his girlfriend? Yeah, but that was bash.org. The nature of the place. Ah. He did what now? Exactly. Belly bounce on the Koopas. Yeah, there's a trick that I need to do there that I'm not quite achieving. I think that I need to just start a dive earlier. Oh, you mean the second one? Yeah, I think belly bouncing is what I need to do. There's a hint up there about holding left, so I think I just need to hold left there, and it'll probably work if I come in at the right height. But I'm only getting there once every once in a while. And that's the problem, is I'm not getting... I mean, it's a weird obstacle to throw near the very end, because you don't have time to learn what you're supposed to do, except at the end. Not saying you can't do this. I'm certainly not saying this hack creator can't do it. But it's usually a small kindness, like you're going to throw new tech at people, to throw it near the beginning so you don't spend, you know, 5 minutes every time getting back to the spot and then struggling in vain to figure out what the hell it was asking of you. Bart is so wholesome and honest, he forgets on Twitch. Oh, come on, Fries. Don't be mean. Does remind me of like Homer trying to decide, you know, the name, what Bart's name should be, and he's like, "Oh no, they'll cheese him." And he's like, "Bart, Cart, Dart, Eart? Oh, it's fine. No, can't make fun of that name." Mistakes may have been made, Faro. My consolations. There we go. Like, doing it that way looks elegant as all fuck. I need to be holding back when I land. Puckman moment. I've actually seen a Puckman. I think I saw it at California Extreme. It was pretty awesome. I also saw a Pac-Man machine that was set up so that you'd always start on the level right before the kill screen level. So I got my kill screen picture. Got that somewhere in my phone. I sent it to Fiskbit, and he's like, "Holy cow!" I'm like, "That's got to be hacked." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. Look at the score." You don't get to the kill screen with a score that low. But it was still a little fun little art installation thing. Oh, no! I just need to pull back. Holding B gives you a beggar bounce. Oh, okay, that's actually important. I hadn't even considered that. It's been a while since... Like, I've just been in the air for so long when I'm not bouncing. Like, yeah, when you do that part right, it feels really good. Like, I'm certain that something along those lines is what Yogui intended. What's up, Weregoose? How you doing? Oh, that's Charity? Okay, I'm definitely going to try out some strategies like that when I get to the Koopas again. Because I've definitely been doing just nothing intelligent whenever I get to them. Oh, the intended solution being elegant? I think that's pretty reasonable, actually. Like, I don't think Yogui's thrown anything at me that wasn't particularly decent. Like, everything has been hard, but understandable. Once I understood it. Like, they've done a good job. Oh, right. Like, there's a certain amount of trust between, like, any sort of creator and player that exists until that trust is usually broken. It's like mystery hunts in general have this sort of same problem where, like, at some point during the mystery hunt, you either have to accept that the people making the mystery hunt know what they're doing, or they don't. And you have to basically expand your list of possible things that something could be exponentially large, because you can no longer make the assumptions that you would with elegant puzzle makers. There was still one puzzle about the most recent one where I was miffed. It was a meta puzzle where half of the answers were used raw and the other half clued words without any rhyme or reason. Like, there was no rhyme or reason why you would basically treat a word as the answer as a clue or something to actually put into the puzzle. We knew what class of thing we were looking for. We were looking for ships, but we did not actually get far enough to disambiguate the two, and I'm still a little bit miffed about that. But... doesn't terribly matter since the hunt ended and we didn't have to make a new one. And the people who are charged with making the next one will do a good job, I'm certain of it. I do one, actually. One of the bigger, more established teams, I'm pretty sure. Got distracted again. But yeah, Final Fantasy III, getting close to the end of that, I think. I'm on to the final dungeon, I think. Like, everything about it screams, I will be doing the final dungeon shortly. Oh man, why did I do that? I always need to dive. Keep in the dive. But we'll see how painful that is. I am a bit worried. I know when it was requested that Desi mentioned taking forever in the final dungeon. I am hoping it's not more than, like, 2 more streams worth of forever, though. Alright, I think I might need to take a break from this room. Like, I felt like I was making good progress, but honestly I haven't been. I've made... I don't know. I'd say I was getting more consistent. I was getting more consistent when I got to the far end, but I'm just kind of fading on this. I'm starting to, like, space out. Which isn't good when you need to actually, like, focus for each bit. And there's so much of it. On the last boss of 1000 Year Door, can't beat it. Oh my. I mean, at least with RPGs, there's generally the option of I can always go grind a bit more, do some side quests, find some extra stuff, unless you're locked into the final dungeon, which some games do. You sometimes can get locked into the final dungeon and you're just stuck. And that's the end of it if you don't have an extra save before that. DKC2 when? No, not anytime soon, I don't think. Honestly, I'm too busy to DKC2. It's been nice to not do too many of those in the last year, I'll say. The amount of DKC2 streams has decreased, which is probably good for my health. Like, I think we even had, like, an actual stream, what, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, instead of Donkey Kong Country. I forget. Or maybe I didn't stream, I don't remember. Hasn't been that long already. That was on accident, but that's what I needed. I don't know why I tried that. That's the furthest we've been. Fire up Mario Paint, we can paint a Kremlin. I have Color a Dinosaur, and I'm not afraid to use it. I also am aware of a hack that is there called There Is No Dinosaurs, which is color a dinosaur except there's no dinosaurs. Which is just really dumb, but the concept still makes me laugh. I kind of miss the, like, really bad hack era of hacks, like they used to make fun of on Something Awful and what, like, iMockery. I mean, an awful lot of them were bad for numerous reasons, but still you could kind of laugh at how bad they were. And that's definitely in that category of, that's just dumb, why did you even bother? Had her down to 23 HP and ran out of heals. Oof. Yeah, you probably should be changing your build. I don't know enough about Thousand Year Door to give you anything resembling useful advice. It's been on my list to play since I beat... I went and beat Paper Mario a couple years ago. Would be nice to see the sequel, because I understand people really like Thousand Year Old Door. Cutscene fuckery is unskippable. You're so dumb you can't color a book. I think the intention is to make fun of creationists a little bit, but also I think it's just stupid trollery. My favorite one, without a doubt, my favorite dumb hack from way back in the day is a hack of Donkey Kong for NES that themes it along the lines of Pink Floyd's The Wall. And they replace, you know... They replace Mario with Pink. They replace Peach with Pink's mom, or possibly Pink's girlfriend. No, Pink's girlfriend. Yeah. And they replace Donkey Kong with a walking asshole. Which actually makes sense in the context of the film if you've seen it. Kind of. But it's still just, you know, a bunch of CHR nonsense. Someone spent an afternoon doing this. It's unnecessary, but I'm still happy that it exists because it amuses me. But I'm never going to play it. I don't even like Donkey Kong at the best of times. So. Oh. That's it, Luigi. Time for a short hand beverage break anyway. Honestly, these are the best kinds of resets because I suffer no actual cost. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity for a beverage break. And we get back to Mario's normal sprite. Nice to have some normal Mario for a minute. I think Safe Char's still on. I don't think I need to reset that. What else is kind of cool? Ray Mario? Okay. Give me a sec. I have to exit the stage for that. The interface is a little bit sketch, so... There we go. See how Ray Mario looks with cape. Because, like, in this case, you gotta pick characters who look good with cape. Some characters do not look good with cape, and I would not want to play as them. And in fact, I'd probably tell you I'm not doing that if you pick some of those characters right now. Like Mario 3. Mario 3 does not look good with cape. Feet? Hell no. Anything else is fair game, but not those two. At least those are the two that come to mind. Maybe not Daisy. I don't like Daisy's cape design. It looks like a Yoshi egg. It's weird. I think it's supposed to be like the flag of Sarissa Land or wherever the hell she comes from, but I don't know. I don't know my Daisy lore well enough. Where's Mario's crotch? Yeah, you did this good. It's just been a while since I've spent a lot of time staring at the cape sprites. His crotch is invisible, just like Rayman's. Actually, I don't know. Does Rayman have it? I'm not going to think about Rayman's crotch. That's just not something I need to be thinking about. I've heard those games are really good, actually. You know what? That's what I can talk about. Oh, I lost that. I gotta go find it. I forget who it was. Someone was doing a blind playthrough, as in they put on a blindfold of Rayman. And Fawful was guiding them through it, and I lost that tab in the great hard drive crash. That's one of those, like, I was going to watch it, dang it. And I'd made strides to finish watching that, like, hour-long video. But still had not completed it, you know, years after the fact. Goes to show you how many tabs I got open. I did watch that beer ad, actually. It was pleasant. You know, beer ad. 70s ads are kind of pleasant. Very earnest things. Why is Ray Mario just actually good? You're kind of surprised how good it came out. It's good because it's just a good concept, honestly. And you're working through subtraction. It's kind of like carving the elephant out of the rock. There was a lot of elephant in that rock. That always helps. Oh, nuts. But yeah, I've heard good things about, like, most Rayman games. Did it come out on Genesis, I think? Was, like, the original Rayman? It's one of those things where, like, it's a character platformer, but I don't know that much about it, other than there have been a couple more recently, and at least one of them came out on Switch, I think. But, like, if you told me the progenitor of it was on PlayStation, I might believe you. But PlayStation just didn't have that many character platformers. The only one that really comes to mind is Tomba? I forget. Some sort of caveman, vaguely Metroidvania-ish platformer that I played for all of 5 minutes at a Fred Meyer once. There's a lot of games I played for 5 minutes at a kiosk once. Okay, I did that. I think I have an idea of how I did that. I just hold back. Holding back didn't work. PS1? Really? Seen the clip of you falling asleep? I think you did send it to me. First experience with the Betty Black segment, Origins being in stores. Interesting. I assume the Origins one is not the first one. That's the furthest I've been, by the way, I think. Well, no, I guess that was equivalent to my other crash into that specific one. Okay, what should I do? I think I just need to... I need to dive a little bit there to get a little more forward momentum. That's... Dive on the second one? Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just wasn't quite ready to put it together. I'd also like to thank the fact that it will save immediately after I beat this door. There's a document that explains how this works, and I looked at it to make sure those were addresses I was not stomping on, and they are not addresses I am stomping on. Gotta say, Yogui is a very put-together individual. Very organized. At least in this regard. Cape Ray Mario looks funky. I mean, he always kind of looks funky. I mean, he's missing most of his body. So there's going to be a little bit of weirdness. Not to mention, there's always a little bit of weirdness because chunks of the cape sprite are actually not in Graphics 32. They're in graphics 0, I think. And I don't mess with those because they're in VRAM, and I don't feel like trying to do DMA. I feel it's one of those things that if I were to mess with it, it would decrease compatibility by a lot, without much of a benefit to me. It's also why sometimes characters have extra shoes. Add some ads. Go for it. Buy some new ads. It's been a while. Maybe I should just set up another Adventures in Advergaming thing. I really do want to play the assorted soda ones I have. And the candy ones could be interesting. I don't know enough about them, really. But the 2 soda ones I have, I know are really good. Especially if I can get the actual disc to work for that one, which I think I can. I own a physical copy of one of those games, though it is an import. I do not have the proper PlayStation for it, but I do have a way to jailbreak my PlayStation. Though it is a little bit involved and requires convincing Crash Bandicoot 2 to actually boot, which turns out to be very hard. But those dudes at Naughty Dog spent a long time learning how to abuse the hell out of PlayStation's hardware. Or a very short amount of time learning how to abuse the hell out of the hardware, but they did abuse the hell out of that hardware. That was close. Yeah, PS1 got soft mods a while ago. There is a soft mod called Tony Hacks, which does require you are required to be able to write to a PS1 memory card for this to work. I think they came up with another strategy later, but I forget what it is that might be a little bit better. But there's one called Tony Hacks, and that's the one I was using. I also, of course, just have a modded PlayStation that has a flash card on it. A SD card, effectively SD to PS. So it is a flash cart for PlayStation, but it's not as much fun as the original disc. Because part of the fun of PlayStation is hearing the load noises, I'm going to be honest. But I was running into some problems with loading certain games, and I'm like, maybe it's the discs I burned. Sometimes when you burn discs from the internet, it's not perfect. And I was doing some conversions between like bin and queue things to ISO, and like not using the right old burning technology. Like what I probably should have done is installed Disk Juggler, because Disk Juggler was like, I didn't expect that, the best one. If you want to replace the ad, go for it. Also, just let me know which one you want to retire. I don't think I gave you guys the ability to turn them off. I probably should give you the ability to turn them off, but I didn't. I built a CR app, when instead I should have built a CRUD app, but I'm lazy. PS2 sound effects are unmatched. Oh, hey! Hey, Noah, how you doing? Ixathil. But yeah, I've got that, and I also have my OG PlayStation from my childhood, so I can, in fact, do the soft modding thing, and it works pretty well. There's a decent number of games that you can use to boot it up. Tony Hawk, Pro Skaters, like a few of them are the major ones, but Crash 2 and 3 also work. And there's a few others that I forget, but I mean, it basically comes down to there's a buffer overrun in the save file handling, which is always how it is. So it does that, boots it up, tricks it into getting into a specific mode where you can boot another executable off a disk, and then tells you to load the disk. It's actually pretty easy. The hardest part is writing something to a PS1 memory card. And so I actually went and bought one of the PS3 memory card transfer majigs. I have it somewhere around here. Oh, the KSP one too, fair. Yeah, you talked about it. It said mention the community. I don't remember if we talked extensively about it, but I could definitely see that could be a drag. Also sounded like it was a bit of a rushed launch, which is kind of surprising given how long-term that game kind of is. But I haven't read too extensively. But yeah, if you do put in a new ad, I will turn that one off, if you so desire. Yeah, the really cool thing about modding the PS1 is you get access to the, whatever they called the hardware, or the arcade version of the hardware games. And so, like, there are some enterprising hackers who have converted Tetris the Grandmaster from its arcade version, which just runs on a fancy PS1. It's a PS1 that instead of having a hard drive or a disc, has a bunch of flash memory or something. I forget. Or maybe it has a... Okay, I know what to do there. I'm going to shut up for a sec. Yes! Yes! I'm going for a victory lap to the world map to make sure everything saves before someone resets the game. It only took an hour today. Don't have an aid for an ad for the spot, and adding yet another Elite Dangerous ad is out of the question. Fair enough. You're not you're a troll, not evil. It's what you get for listening to chat. Yep. Getting good advice from Fries, who is secretly actually Grand Pooh Bear. Yes, it's cleared. You see the star? It's done. I don't have to do that one anymore. Let's try a new one. Swim with a bazooka. I'm probably going to hate this one too. But it doesn't require flying, and so I'm happier with it. Oh no, okay. If you want to reset the game now, feel free to. I am absolutely at peace. I can swim. I know how to swim. Oh, this is my bazooka. Why did I go to this level earlier? This is much more awesome. Where I can shoot things. Okay. Oh, hey, those stars are like straight out of Mario RPG. I'm pretty sure those are straight out of Mario RPG. Those look nice. Oh, I like this level. I like it a lot. See, when it said swim with the bazooka, what I thought was going to happen was I'd have to swim with, you know, all sorts of torpedo Teds and other projectiles. No. I mean, I can't control when it fires. I don't need to 100%. No, I have to. I have to 100% this. I must destroy this gate in its entirety. There we go. This is fantastic. I love this level so much. Hey, fishy, fishy, come here. Alright, fine. You get to live. For now. But not very long. Kirby Superstar? Oh, okay. Interesting. It's also possible they might have reused them. I think Kirby Superstar was also developed with like SA1 in mind and might have used some 3D renderings. No, maybe it doesn't. I don't remember. Nope, nope, nope. I see. This is an obstacle I don't like. Nope, that was a bad idea. Usual, give an American a gun, they go crazy. Songs from Hat in Time. Oh, that's another game I'd like to play at some point. I understand it's kind of Mario 64-esque, and I'm a big fan of those class of games. And that game looks fun. Everything I've seen seems to indicate that it's fun. In 3D World, you hold a button to pause the button. I mean, I can pause the bullets. They're paused. It's just not useful. Yeah, I saved the game. I definitely saved the game. By going to the world map, it saves. And also, I'm fairly certain, because I read the doc, that it saves those completions to a chunk of SRAM. So either way, I'm pretty sure it's saved, but don't have to worry about it. 63 stream when? Is Mario 63 the creepypasta one, where like it's trying to do like a liminal space thing, even though I don't actually know what a liminal space really is? I think that one doesn't work on hardware, which is a bit of a bummer. Though I might be thinking of a different Mario hack, honestly. There are a lot of them. Mario 64 probably has one of the larger hacking communities after SMW and Sonic's. It's humongous, because like they have decent tooling. That helps. There we go. Oh, it's the old Flash, okay. Gotcha. Oh. Joking that suggestion, yeah. No, I think that there probably is actually a 64 ROM hack called Mario 63. Because again, there's so many ridiculous number of those at romhacking.com, which is a name I don't particularly like because it doesn't indicate that that website only does 64 stuff. But it's actually really nice. Like, go look at it if you want to learn a little bit more about 64 hacks. They have nice tools that help you like get your emulator all plugged into it. Like, it's actually a really nice system they've built. It can even like track stars and things. Like, it's actually pretty good. That's been on my list of possible, like, if I'm streaming from a remote place sort of thing to do, but I've had other options last few times I've been traveling and decide to stream. Mostly around requests, and when I just wanted to play Inversity, when that came out, that was just a lot of fun. So, yeah, I got romhacking.com and romhacking.net mixed up, and romhacking.net is old. Like, they've had that name for a long time, and so I could understand them being like, actually pissed off about. Oh, come on, actually pissed off about this. I also could actually do the Flash game. I have Flashpoint installed. I've been reticent to do Flash stuff because Flashpoint does window sizes in a really awkward way, and I'd have to basically start the stream with the idea that I'm going to play these Flash games and capture them individually and do a bunch of nonsense to make it work. Flashpoint's really cool, but it's a pain in the butt. But for some Flash things, it's the only option. Like, I don't think there's a better way to get some of the Candy Stand games to work anymore. Like, even if I got Flash on Windows 98, some of that stuff just... The files aren't in the right places anymore. It would make it too hard to actually load, even with archive.org. So, the more you know. So another thing this reminds me of, and it's incredibly stupid, there's a JonTron video out there where he did a game jam. And I forget what the other game was, but the one that he ended up working on was a game where you had a bazooka that would fire randomly, and it had a funny Dutch name. And that was like the shtick. They also wanted to like make an FMV game, and so JonTron dressed up as like what he thought was a Dutch Dutch general or something. Put on a terrible accent. The concept at least looked fun. Don't know if it was actually fun in practice, but... Okay, let me read chat for a second while my bazooka slowly explodes. Real quick, an ad builder was description field for? It's for you describing your ad. It's something only you and I can see. For any given ad. It's not terribly important. I just put it there because it felt like the right thing to have. And would let people know what their ad was if they forgot. Somehow. I think most of the descriptions for ones I've made are like very short, limited explanations. They're like a word. So don't worry about it, effectively is what I'm saying. Files in places that they try to hit out-of-function servers. Exactly. And like the Candy Stand stuff relied on like weird Flash plugins that I don't even remember the name of. Like, not Director, but like, I don't know, something else. Okay, I wanted to kill those. Because I'm going to respawn them if I'm not careful. And this room is just all about carefulness. I need to wake up this fish, and then have a spot to stand to kill that one. Possibly wake up the other fish. Okay. There we go. Mario goes fishing. Ah. The URLs where you go when you add, yes. Or when someone clicks on it on patcdr.net. There are two ways to invoke ads, and that's one of them. They always run on patcdr.net on certain Carl-based pages. I've been thinking about putting them on other pages. Like, I thought about putting them on the judge pages, for instance, but then I'm like, oh, this seems a bit tacky. So I haven't done that yet. I might. I have the technology for it, but I just haven't done it yet. So. Description display. Oh, it might actually. You might be right. That might be what it is. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think it does show up in the title bar. I forgot about that. It's one of those things where I implemented this over like a year ago, and I have not really revisited that code since in any serious capacity. In fact, I can actually get you guys' click-through rates if you want to see them. I have that that code around somewhere. I put that information in a database. There we go. Needs the star song from Super Mario 2. Yeah, it should. How you doing, Kavik and Chaos? Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on reading chat. I like that name. It's a good name. Has download links if I'm considering it. I mean, it's not so much I'm saying I will do this, so much I'm saying I have the capacity to do it. And I'm going to assume, since it's an old Flash game that was on Newgrounds and the other aggregators, that it would be available in Flashpoint, trivially. Just I'd need to spend time setting it up. That's really the thing, and I haven't done that kind of thing. And it's not a one and done, so like an awful lot of my overlays are basically reused constantly. So like I don't even have a different overlay for 64. Basically, I use this overlay for anything I'm capturing on my my GV USB anyway, and so that makes it really easy. So it's like anything that uses AV in, uses S-Video in, just anything like that. And so I can just reuse that overlay. But when you're capturing other games, you kind of have to do it specially and one-off. And the Flash ones are even worse because they're completely random resolutions. Every time I've tried to use that, it's been a pain. So it's like I need to do some research and figure it out if I wanted to do that. I would like to do Flash games at some point, some Flash games. One of those, like, I keep saying I'm going to do this and haven't decided, like, when to do it. Thing that I've been wanting to do, like, forever is Mini Golf Day. We're just going to have mini golf all day. And play every mini golf game I can find that's reasonable to play on stream. And, of course, this would include Ultra 3D Mini Golf, some of the Flash mini golf games that I found and played over the years. Probably also just because it's fun. Cat with Bow and Arrow, which is a really silly little Flash game that'll take all of like 5 minutes to beat, but it's fun. And it has, you know, it's golf, it's got par. So. Can't just say a Flash game on Newgrounds, it's delete the whole site. Well, that's true. What I'm saying, though, is that a Flash game on Newgrounds, at least one that was there in the old days, is likely to be in this giant collection of Flash stuff that's kind of set up to just work on modern computers. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Flashpoint. I think it's Maxima Flash? Blue Specs? I forget what the name is. It's got a silly name. But basically, it's a program you can run that runs Flash programs. Old Flash games and other things, animations. There's probably a few other categories of Flash thing. I guess like site navigation, if you really want to do that for old websites. They might have some of those around. I don't know. But it makes it possible to load those old Flash things. Oh, dang it, I'm that bad at that part. Could have just not gotten rid of Flash. I know. The problem is Flash was very insecure, and nobody really wanted to put in the work. And Macromedia, I mean Adobe now, didn't want to open source it because they couldn't exactly open source it. There were a number of libraries that were integrated and tied into it that they licensed. And so it was too much of a morass, and there's just not any benefit to it. Of course, Flash still lives on in the animation industry. Assorted tools that Adobe and other companies have built still use the Flash like workflow. But Toon Boom, I believe, still uses it, but my knowledge about this might be a little bit out of date. Or a lot of bit out of date, honestly. Insecure is an understatement? Yep. But the thing is, what I miss about Flash, of course, is that it was an easy tool to use that sort of gave people a eventual pathway to learning a professional skill, which an awful lot of our more modern stuff just doesn't. It's like learning how to edit videos on TikTok or Snapchat. Like, that's great and all, but you're never going to transition that into, like, a video editing job because you need to learn a proper multi-track video editing piece of software. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Dang it. Wasn't given an option, your software updated? Yep. They kept trying to do that on one of my machines, but one of my machines is too dumb to take the update. And at some point I need to get Flash installed on the Windows 98 machine so I can play T and Y, or yeah, so I can play T and Y World. That is important to me. It is important to demonstrate that this thing existed. It still exists because Tom 7 hasn't taken it down, and it's an interesting little game. It was built for one of the llavirᴉâ contests. And it's a fascinating game that I think you guys would appreciate. At least a bit of the mucking around with it. But it's a shame that it's not easily accessible now. He never, like, tried to get it to work in, what was that crappy Flash thing called? Ruffle. He never tried to get it to work in Ruffle. Don't blame him, he's got like a million projects. Trying to support an old llavirᴜâ game isn't really worth it. Oh, that reminds me, I need to approve that ad. That was on my list of things to do and I got distracted. Alright. Yep, that's a decent ad. Perfectly fine. Like to build on top of... If you were to build a top list of programs with huge install bases and horrible security vulnerabilities, it'd be up there with Java and Adobe Acrobat. It's true. No, those programs are truly hot garbage, security-wise. What if it'll show up before? No, now it might. What are they going to do? Access your old webkins? Well, the problem isn't that they could just exploit Flash. The problem is they could exploit your entire computer. Just by you visiting a URL, and that's kind of something people don't like anymore. It's best to be avoided. Ah, dang it, I really want to kill those fish. For example, just as an example, since we're playing Super Mario World, there exist ROM files that if you run them in ZSNES, people get to run arbitrary code on your computer. And that's bad. You don't want me running arbitrary code on your computer. You don't want anybody running arbitrary code on your computer who you do not trust. Like, we imbue a lot of trust into assorted, like, stores, like Steam. We imbue a lot of trust into Steam nowadays. And security models have gotten better. You know, we've got things where, like, you have security models that assume that some certain programs should only have access to certain directories and all that, rather than the free-for-all we lived through in the XP and earlier days. But even so, you still don't want them getting access, getting a toehold on your computer, because they could get another toehold. Or possibly get worse than that, get access to your root account and or administrator account, and then start reading your taxes, or ordering you 1,000,000 pizzas, or stealing all your NFTs, what have you. Installing keyloggers, making it so that they can log into your bank, or man-in-the-middling you, so once you are logged into your bank, they can easily just start transferring money out to other people. There we go. Okay. Now we're gunning. And we're just gonna let him live. Because we can afford to. The difficulty in this area is a little bit weird. Okay, scary fish. Tasty fish. Oh, that's just mean. Okay. Thanks, I hate it. Not 1,000,000 pizzas, all your apes gone. XP did have some, that's why I said 95. Let's hack someone's Spotify ad banner, PC, 19... Yeah, exactly. It's a Chromebook, they can have it. Alright, fair enough. Chromebook has a reasonable security model that will prevent that kind of thing. I can't argue with that. I actually have a, like, beta Chromebook somewhere. I probably should just take it to PC Recycle, because it's really not worth anything anymore. I never really used it. Could you please fall asleep down here? I'm just gonna let you chill. I think you'll eventually get tired, fish. Okay. God dang it, I keep stuffing my shots. Always be the first block. There it is, yep. Old EPC going for 30 bucks on FB. There were an awful lot of fun, like, notebook things. I was thinking about the brief time I got to use a one laptop per child laptop. One of the guys who is on our mystery hunt team, the mystery hunt team I'm on, I don't really claim ownership of it, was working on that project through like the Wikimedia Foundation. Oh, this part. No, okay, that doesn't work. I started thinking for a moment. That there was a way. Flash was the last thing that made Chrome OS bearable, so yeah, hack it. Ruin your Google Docs, who cares? That's fair. There's probably a way to do it, like if you've jailbroken it or whatever. And there's always Ruffle Flash, which isn't ideal, but it kind of works for some number of things. But its performance is kind of garbo. And it doesn't support a bunch of old Flash, or all like newer Flash things. It supports really old Flash stuff okay. And simple Flash things. So like I've got a website that like has the purposes of playing a single Flash loop somewhere out there. And Ruffle worked okay for that. I'm not happy with it, but it works okay. I spent a decent amount of time trying to make it autoplay because it's that kind of website, but I think it still works kind of okay in Firefox and kind of okay in Chrome, and we're just going to call it kind of okay. Pain, exactly. It's okay. There's only a few obstacles in this area. They're really awful. That was one of them. That wasn't one of them. The problem also is I keep just going... Oh, no. Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. I go down there, try to shoot, and then I might get one or two of them. We'll try that next time. Like, I think my strategy there of, like, getting the fish up and trying to shoot them carefully was not working great for me anyway. So... I just need to not stuff my shot in that last spot. I'm just gonna outswim him. I'm Mario. I can do that. Oh, but yeah, it's a shame. It just bugs me because so many like young programmers and animators and other things got their start just fucking around with Flash in class, and we just don't get that kind of thing anymore. And if you do want to build like that class of game now, your options are so much more limited. You have to like actually use a real game engine. Using Unity is probably the most reasonable thing, but that comes with all the Unity baggage. Putting Chirrut on these things isn't usually worth it. It's not a good idea. Doesn't handle anything more than basic GIF. It's basically no RAM and no option of expanding the thing. Heat up so fast the Xbox 360 is jealous. Oh, I remember those days. I had a red-ringing Xbox 360. Way back when, and it was still within warranty when I got to send it in. So they had to patch up the internals and send it back to me. That was nice. Lead-free solder. We just weren't ready yet. The world's ready now, but we weren't ready then. Yeah, I think I just get frustrated. Like, I think Chrome OS would just frustrate me with how limited it is. Like, the one good thing I know an awful lot of people liked about it was that it gave you access to a to an SSH shell if you needed one. That was like the killer feature somehow. amongst the people who had them at Google at the time. And they were a lot lighter, too. I think, like, did they come out pre-MacBook Air? I think they did. It was mostly it. Either you had, like, big, chunky MacBooks, or you were using a ThinkPad. Your options were not great at Google for light computability. Oh, that was dumb. World isn't ready for a Waluigi game. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Waluigi for Smash forever. Was about to comment, Jones, Zales, Cheroots never came home PCs, and it's always been a good idea. I mean, they're kind of getting there with some of the permissions model stuff. UAC was kind of the beginning of that idea. How's that doing, Dick Feynman? Was closing a bunch of tabs on my work PC, and I was like, oh, yeah, I looked up Darkseed recently. But I think part of it's just, like, it's too much information for the average user to really want to deal with. And, of course, the average user is also trained to press yes to pretty much anything. There's only so much you can do to defend someone against themselves. Send in a ticket. If I delete System32, my computer becomes unstable. Don't delete System32. Simple. Easy. But hard for some people to get their heads around. Truc Bidule. Yep. We're still on it. How you doing? How you doing, Evil Ghost? Mario has a gun. Who needs courage when you have a gun? As the professor once said in Futurama. Yep. Okay. No! Good. Fish snipe. Okay. Then there's this part where I think I can just go on the bottom and chill. And just wait for the fish to pass. Alright. I'm not dead. So's the fish. And that's a problem. Fish snipe. Okay. Ah! Okay. I wasn't ready for that. Okay, we're almost back to that one spot. With this dang fish. You know what? Maybe what I need to do is just commit. No. What I need to do is get the fish to fall asleep over here. If I have more time. That's close enough. There we go. Alright. Cool. I'm just gonna snipe this guy when he comes by. In words of MC Hawking, all my shootings be drive-bys. Alright. Have a nice comfy spot to stop and re-chat for a sec. Heard Dick Feynman and we're like, what? If all you want to do is run Google, sure, get a Chromebook. It accesses the internet and you can type. Anything else? Buy something. Buy a razor. Yeah, exactly. Doing fine. Probably not give you too long. Alright, fair enough. Thank you for coming by. Not for you, sadly. Just have fall asleep again. Sad to hear. Migraines are no fun. Like you don't get migraines. Oh, dear dad and sister. Oof. I feel like the Billy gun should be a tiny bit faster and make this more forgiving. Yep. I mean, but why would we do forgiveness here when the level can just end? Perfect timing, actually. First off, let's go look at the completed level star. Completed level star! That's 2. That's 2 out of 6. Oh, even if it does crash the game, this is a fine place to crash the game. Absolute perfect timing. Also time to have some more beverage. Yeah, it was close last time. Alright, what do we got now? I think there's two we haven't even tried yet. The Night of Tiramisu, this, Gravity Garden. We haven't tried either of those. DarkDark Castle was not it. I think we're gonna try Night of Tiramisu. I don't like the looks of this, but it's probably better to get it out of the way sooner than later. Yep, that still hurts you. Yep. What is my beverage of choice? I actually have a nice apple cider right now. A very pleasant, scrumpy cider. I probably won't finish it. Comes in bottles too big for certain lengths of streams, which should show you how big the damn bottle is. Underworld Forest, exactly. When? Like I told you, my list is ever grows. I need to get the other things finished. I'm gonna accelerate a little bit on it. On the list, I'm hoping this week and subsequent time. Finishing this moderation is very high on my list of important things to do first. But once it's done, then I have a lot more options. Oh, I hate this part. How many people actually played Last Bible 3? I don't think too many. Happy belated Miku Day. Oh, was her birthday recently? Recent? That would explain a few things. Oh, dang it. Are you, though? Look, I have a certain number of hours in any given day I can do things. I have to do an awful lot of work sometimes. As much as I would love to spend more time streaming things, I already stream a lot. For certain values of a lot, I suppose. Dang, Bumpty. It is mostly known for its music being SMW hacks. I have no idea if it's any good, honestly. Other Shin Megami Tensei games are good. I know that much. Why wait? Or at least kind of fun for what they are, if you're willing to accept the amount of grind you may need to be involved in. I'm not good at that obstacle. Same with Fortress 2 Blue and Tails Weaver. Last Bible 3 is actually pretty decent. I mean, the thing is, there's so many spin-offs of SMT. Like, a ridiculous number. Including the, what was it, Devil Kids series? SMT's answer to Pokemon. Which was probably not a good idea. Wait, therefore you live. I know. I know. What I've learned is I'm never putting that many... I'm never letting the queue get this long again. I'm changing how I'm doing this after this iteration. We're gonna clear the queue before I start adding anything more to it, though. So... Okay, double Bumpty. Bumpty. Just looking at this is already... I'm so glad I ducked. The forks hurt you. I had almost forgotten that forks hurt you. Almost. Right? It jiggles. I have to wait a cycle to figure out when the hell I can jump on this thing. Not then. I hope it comes back. It's not coming back. Could have spin jump there. Is the queue reopening later next year? Very possibly. Pretty easy though. It's got a good story. Complete party members. Okay. I mean, it opens when I finish. Like I said, I might just take a week off and see what I can do. Live the full-time streamer lifestyle for a short period of time. I need to remember for single... Oh, right, this part. arc right around him. Do a barb, level 20 hype train, we do marbles, and the winner can pick a game. I am tempted to go non-linearly, I'm telling you that much. Like I said, I think that because of the amount of stuff in the queue from Desi and his general availability on Wednesdays, we might just have Nintendo Desi Wednesdays for a while. But we'll see. Fully appreciate Last Bible, you gotta play the first 2 games. I like cool callbacks, but it might be a bit difficult since Last Bible 1 and 2 are forgettable. Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of JRPGs, depending upon that. There we go. That Bumpty is evil. Okay. Well, that's how I exit that part. Oh, God. This is, I think, even more so than the cape part, not my jam. Like, getting hit that early is probably an indication I should just sandbag and try again. Thank you, Bumpty. Okay. Ah. They're not bad games, but vary by the numbers. The Last Bible had a Game Gear port of all things with a new ending, which turns out to be really wild. So what system is Last Bible on then? Is it NES, SNES, Game Boy? Because I feel like Game Boy is the right thing, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna put a marker down. The way this spawns has problems that are weird. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it is something that that's kind of bugging me. I think it should probably just spawn 1 tile to the left and that solved the problem. But that's more of a like testing note than a moderation note. Thing is, I could actually play a Game Gear. I could play a Game Gear game of all things. I'm set up for that. I have the Genesis flashcard, which also does Game Gear. It also does 32X if you have a 32X. So, Game Boy Color. Last Bible is also Game Boy Color. Yeah, Japan only. Okay. I'm certain someone has to have translated that one though. Like SMT games are the class of game that generally gets a good get fan translations. Maybe not good ones, but at least fan translations. Game Boy Color is more problematic because I don't have a good way to play those. They're all translated? Okay. Like I said, it does not surprise me. SMT games are just like that. People like them enough to put the work in. Keep dropping to the floor. I'm debating switching this out for the gravity thing, because I feel like the gravity level might be more my speed, or maybe going for moles again. I hate obstacles you can't go through at first jump. What about SMT? Oh, just in general, like there's a very solid fan base in America and other English-speaking places. So SMT games generally got translated in the fan translation era, even if Atlas didn't want to bother on any given game. You walk to the right? He's never done that before. Like, I think an awful lot of the Japanese-only ones got fan translations over the years. There's probably only a few left that aren't, I'd imagine. In the West, it was known as Revelations the Demon Slayer, because Megami Tensei was originally localized as Revelation series. Only LB1 and Persona had Revelations in the title in the West. There was also that weirdness. Since we were talking about like old web stuff, my favorite RPG news site back in the day was the GIA, GIA, Gaming Intelligence Agency. And they, of course, role-played the whole gag up to the nines, but they were people who actually like really cared about JRPGs and wanted people to play them. They were actually had like good reporting on new stuff, and they actually had like some really good. They had a really good April Fool's Day joke where they claimed they were given exclusive footage of Final Fantasy VIII that was apparently so good it fooled Square. Just a very well executed April Fool's Day joke. I think some of the people who were involved in that might actually still work in the... Oh, come on. In some capacity in the gaming industry even now. Poke that back in my ear. Boop. Boop. Okay. I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with that! I really expect that Bumpty to move to the left every time, and he doesn't. I just need to wait. Like, this is just killing me. This level is just all about patience. Oh. You're killing me, Smalls. Oh, and that spawn. I just realized I can stand on this. I didn't think the champagne bottle would be an accessible surface, but it is. 90% of the SMT games have fan translations. That's all the stuff that's missing is SMT 9, the Xbox one, Devil Summoner 1, probably because on Saturn, yeah, and Giten Megami Tensei. Okay. Tensai. Say. See. I mean, I think, especially in the Xbox case, there's just not a there's not a giant group of Xbox hackers. It's a slope. Kind of ditto for Saturn. Saturn is a very unique skill set. There's just not many people who do it. There have been some, like, recent Saturn translations. I've looked into it because I have a flashcard for Saturn that I have not seriously used, and I was stucking. Haven't really used any serious capacity. Crap. But it does seem like there's some fun stuff out there. I think if I play Castlevania Symphony of the Night again, I'll probably do it on Saturn just because it's slightly different. I played it on Xbox with the PS1 port. But I think Saturn would be fun just because it's got like some unique areas that are Saturn only. And it has some interesting like JRPGs. I'm always tempted to like try and play through as many of the games that are translated as I can find that exist in the Sega Saturn Shiro commercials, which are still one of the most amazing ideas for an ad campaign ever. It's like, okay, what do? We get a guy who's really good at karate and other martial arts, and in every commercial he beats up children who aren't playing Sega Saturn. Brilliant! Music's glitching out. I don't hear it. Slightly different and worse. Is it on the stream? Okay, yeah, it sounds right. I'd recommend refreshing your stream if you're having audio problems. Because I'm listening through the speakers, and the speakers sound fine, so I don't think there's any problem with the Mario hack. I just listened through the stream audio, and it sounds fine. That was a way better way of doing that. Earlier second verse sound kind of glitchy. Okay, fair enough. Slightly different and worse. There's a bunch of dev comments on the CD for Sega Saturn Symphony of the Night. Most of them are apologetic. I mean, worse comes to worse. I play a bit of that, say this sucks, and go off and play a different game. No! What's possibly happening, actually, and this is one of those evil Twitch things that's hard to disable unless you're using Franker's eFace or something, is sometimes if Twitch detects you're too far behind, what it will do is it will start speeding up the stream to catch up and do a little bit of phase shifting to make that work and sound right. But it doesn't work on music consistently. And so if you're too far behind, it'll do that sometimes, and it's awful. I am very much against this. Let people know they're behind, but don't, like, force them into that. Yeah, that was a bad jump. I need to go the other way. You move right. You sucker. Get over here. I hate bumpties. Heard the music thing too. Definitely because of the game. Okay. Sometimes sample music glitches out. Oh, that's fair. Didn't one game company release a new game for Saturn a few years ago? I do not know. That's a brave endeavor, though. Like, the Saturn is not an easy thing to work with. It was one of the first consoles to absolutely require, not have as an option, basically multi-processor design. Not to mention multi-VPU. Like, in order to get the Saturn to look good and work right, you have to be programming both of the processors and both of the video processors. In addition to the fact that you also need to have, like, the sound chips working and everything. But, like, the sound chips, I think, some of the stuff was brought over from Saturn, so it wasn't, or from Genesis, so it wasn't too bad. But I think there was just the orchestrator was a 68,000. But, like, it's an architecture that is kind of ugly. Sega had weird ideas. FFZ also has that, yeah. I always have the metadata on to know when I'm too far behind. It's really nice when you're rating somebody, because then you know how far behind you are, and don't accidentally look like a fool. Yeah, I think that's just a smart move. Don't wait for it, just go through the middle. I think that's the thing I'm not doing enough of here, is jumping through ghost rings. And I don't generally like to, but I don't think I have a choice. Incidentally, FFC has it. Yes, it does. It's a good thing. Saturn Symphony Night is not completely awful, but it tends to be very laggy and even have more loading screens, most notably between the Dracula staircase and his throne room. I could see that being painful. Yeah, don't think all programmers have the ability to program 2 CPUs. Most can get about 1.5 the time the speed if you were one SH2. Only 1 on 100 programmers are good enough to get this kind of speed out of Saturn. That's like a direct quote from one of the developers, I think, of the Saturn, isn't it? But yes, it's true. Multi-threaded programming is already kind of hard, especially in a game context, because games are weird. Like, most of the time, if you need to get something that has better performance characteristics by being multi-threaded, the right answer is to use producer-consumer queues. That works really well. It's a great paradigm. The problem is game design doesn't really allow that. Like, in general, multiprocessing is way better for throughput than latency, and games care a lot more about latency than throughput in some ways. So, you kind of either have to assign a CPU to a job and let it do its job and keep it on there, again, kind of doing the producer-consumer thing, or be really fucking smart. And of course, you're still not going to get, full 2x speed up because you've got memory constraints. You still have to DMA things around and all that nonsense. By the time the Cell came around, or the PS2 came around, the Cell was also notorious. Yeah, the PS2 also had a wacky architecture that was really hard to work with. I think it had like 7, you were guaranteed 7 processors, most of which were general purpose except the I/O one, I think, and maybe the sound one. But yeah, that was another difficult system to work with. But the PS2 had a lot more benefit to upside by working on it. You had a humongous audience to work with, and it was like the longest-lived console I think it was the longest-lived console with the most games released, I think. Like, it had the longest support lifetime of any console. If not the most, it's really high up there. It's really high up there. Oh, fuck you, Bumpty. Oh, I hate these things. I hate them so much. Actually, it occurs to me. Oh, no, wait, these things weren't added in that. No, they weren't. PS2 is the best selling of all time. It's not even close. Yeah, there you go. between being a DVD player and the massive install base and everything else, it was just the right thing to do. Whereas the Saturn was the Saturn. And even Sega Shajin Shiro could not save that. No matter how many kids he beat up. Only thing that approaches is the DS family. That's fair. The DS family had a long lifetime, too. When you include things like the 3DS and 2DS and all the other ones. Not to mention it had backwards compatibility with Game Boy Advance. Like, it had a long tail on that one. Didn't hit the bumpty. 3DS is counted separately, but even that through their other models, yeah. There we go. I was about to say new PB, but no. I had... Okay. Missed the spin jump. I even got a running start thinking that'd make a difference. It is weirdly mean. It's also just one of those things where this is like my nightmare. I do not like these dealing with multiple sources of spinning movement at once. I'm just bad at keeping track of where they're going to go. It's really hard for me to make good inference about a thing that's spinning in a circle while spinning on a circle. You know, epicycles. Like this thing, there's so many circles. I'm just kind of praying that I get through it. The fish level, I think, was probably my favorite of the set so far. I mean, I've only done the fish... the other ones I've played were the castle level, which had lightning, and I never quite figured out how to avoid riding the lightning, which was not pleasant. And I did the mole level. And the mole level's fine. It's a mole level. I just need to sit down and concentrate and beat that one. I have no qualms against that one. I will beat that one with enough time and effort. It's just that any one of these levels could have easily been a whole level in this hack already. No! I missed my bus. Okay, I made it. And then there's this thing. Okay. Oh, it's a regular boo. I can just move it. Okay. The boos aren't scary. Like, the boos are nice because I get to have a short break whenever I see them. No. Okay. Those candles hurt. Those candles hurt. Those candles hurt. Jump over all of them. Alright. Okay. That level was unnecessarily stressful. It worked out, yes. I got lucky. There was a certain amount of luck there, but I did it. You're a winner, indeed. We could play... You know what? I'm actually tempted. We could go play Big Rigs Over the Road Racing right now if we wanted to. Go pull up the ISO from archive.org, install in the Windows 98 machine, and just enjoy the ride. But instead, we're going to go to Gravity Gardens. But instead, this is it, Luigi. I'll take it. I'm fine with this. I guess actually we haven't had a reset. Okay, that saved. That saved. One more thing to verify. If this doesn't save, oh god, thank you. Thank you, it saved. I was worried. If it didn't save, goodbye, Vivian, indeed. Okay. This doesn't look bad. Oh, there's a lot of pipes. Alright, maybe this might take a little bit of time. Ah, I understand the gimmick now. We're doing that kind of gravity shifting. These are red. Did I ever play Ignition? No, I definitely have not. I played very few racing games, period. Rosa? Okay, give me a sec to get out of the level. I think this will be the first time we see this one, actually. It's appropriate, I think. I'm really glad y'all pushed me to actually look into these, because so many of them were trivial to add. Believe it or not, she uses the exact same palette as Mario. How? I'm not sure. I didn't think there was this much blue on Mario, but here we are. Yeah, she looks great, honestly. This particular sprite came out of C3 that recently just wrapped up. Okay, that's a red one. Remember, it's a red one. Also remember it's going to spit upward, which is weird. Need to be a little more careful. Mario has a ton of blue. Also annoyed. This doesn't have any noids. Oh yeah, I guess it's another thing I did recently. I beat Pizza Tower. I didn't 100% it, of course. But I did get like 60%, which gave me the Peppino points me out to the cops for some reason ending. Which I have to assume is a reference. That goes down to something. Oh, she looks kind of pissed. Okay. Have yet to play Pizza Tower? It's fun. I would highly recommend playing Pizza Tower. It's just got a great aesthetic. The levels are fun. It's definitely a speed game in the sense that like the way you'll get the most enjoyment out of it is to find all the secrets and then master the fast gameplay stuff. That's a terrible way to go. She looks tired. You suck. I didn't get that bad. Like I said, it pointed me out to the cops, which is still kind of not great, but Pizza Tower is more speed, score attack than Mario games usually are. Yeah. How you doing, Aerosoft? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But honestly, it's just a lot of fun. Oh, spin jump was not the right call there. Still that grade, we expect more exploring. It has some of it, but it's not focused now. Like, once you find the 4 or 5 things you need to find, and most of them are not so much hidden as on the path you were going to take anyway. Like, if you just kind of walk through the levels without much thought, you'll pretty much always end up somewhere reasonable and to get most of the important collectibles. Like, it's definitely not exploration-based. But I still love its aesthetic. Like, it's just fun aesthetic. And that feeling once you break the pillar and it's pizza time starts playing is just something else. I still expect it to, like, have a pretty good billing at GDQ. One of the next ones. Let's stop being dumb here for a second. Secret areas are the most hidden things. I felt like the items could occasionally be hidden in little awkward spots, because you have to find both the item and the janitor, so you can actually open them up. And yes, I know I'm being dumb here, but I'm checking these. But yeah, the eyes are most of the secrets, and there's only 3 of them per level. So there's not that much in the way of secrets. Especially because, like, it's not like an awful lot of Wario games where, like, coins matter. Your score is nice and matters for, you know, doing ranks. But there's no progression like that, which exists in some of the Wario and, like, Mario games. I guess there is, like, the money so you can continue forward in the game, but that hardly counts. Consider the treasure room also a secret area. There. I think it's the combination of having to find both things that I found to be a little more tricky. Okay, that's a good balloon spray. How is this gonna work? Awkwardly. Awkwardly is how that sentence ends. Oh, God. Okay, up and down are reversed, but not left and right, and I am hosed, because I keep thinking left and right are reversed. It also might be the case that I'm not playing it that way either. Like, when I was playing it, I was pretty much just always trying to just beat the levels without too much care for finding all the secrets. P ranks are indeed the ultimate goal of Pizza Tower. I'm certain some people will go for score, and I've already, like, YouTube, of course, is, at, you know, throwing stuff at me. There are some mods that let you try and do, like, a 3rd and 4th lap. If you feel like you're already good enough at 2 laps for a given tower level. P ranks? So yeah, it uses the standard Japanese ranking system, like F, D, A, B, C, C, B, A, S, and then of course P for pizza. Mario's... No, that... I mean, Mario's a plumber, but he doesn't make pizza. Though I'm certain he would like pizza. Like, I could definitely see a crossover happening if he felt the need. Thank you. D, C, B, A, S, and P. I still want to know where this ranking system came from in Japan. Like, the whole S-class thing is weird to me. Of course, the American grade system, which, you know, goes A, B, C, D, F, is also still weird to me, even after all of these years and being out of the educational system for a number of them. I'd love to know why. Why we did either of those things. Okay. Now, one small benefit here, one small kindness this hack provides is that the P-balloon physics are actually slightly different. You have a lot more control because you're not constantly fighting the upward force as much. Which is nice. There we go. Rank inflation, this is why we have it, and anything above them. I just like the Whitest Kids You Know sketch about teachers, and they do that, you know. They define the grading system and the curriculum, which includes things such as, we gotta teach them gym! We're gonna teach the kids gymnasium? I don't understand how I'm having so much trouble on this. Like, I expect the controls to be fully reversed instead of only being half reversed, and it's actually hurting me more somehow. Which is really dumb. I cannot even begin to deny it. It is really dumb that I'm expecting my left and right to get reversed here, when they just aren't going to. Kind of wonder what, like, if people make any good mods for Pizza Tower that will make it more of an exploration-based thing, because, like, some of the tools are there. Like, there's an awful lot of interesting movement tech in that game that is only seen in, like, one level for a few minutes. One level each for a few minutes. I just had to focus for a second. Not enough. Genuine gripe with the ranks in the game is usually D through A is basically consolation prize and don't do anything pointless. Go for S, you may as well go for P. Just such a minimalistic difference between the two. So why not just do P then? I think that's actually a pretty reasonable criticism. I think maybe if nothing else, like, it's a little bit of progression if you're not very good and under learning. you get a little consolation prize, which is kind of nice, but it is definitely a consolation prize. Like, you get nothing for it. But it is a little bit of an attaboy when you move up a rank. And if you're on a grind, that can be a bit of a difference. Thought the controls were already reversed. A thought occurs. I think I can just go through here without caring about the reverse controls if I'm careful, which I just did. Let's at least get some info. There's a lot of things going on here. Feel like that in most games? Yeah. It is a reasonable thing. Ah. Sonic Adventure 2, you only A ranks and E through B. Oh, yes. Those are not fun. I liked Sonic Adventure 1's implementation slightly more, where, you know, you basically had 3 quests in any given thing, beat the level 50 coins, and then the specific thing you have to do for a given character. Which is a little more fun, especially like the Sonic ones. Beating Sonic in the races was actually kind of fun. Especially because, you know, he's constantly taunting you, and not taunting, but like encouraging you. Eggman taunts you. The Eggman one's the funnest one. But the rank systems in Sonic Adventure 2, oh dear God. I cannot imagine going 100... Like, I've seen the 100% emblem run. 100% all A or whatever's runs. And it's just, it's nightmarish. I don't know how... Ouch. That did not work. One sec. Some dust got me. Definitely got me for a sec there. Should be alright in a minute, but I'm gonna be a little quieter while my throat gets over what just happened. Which should not have been traumatic. I wasn't drinking anything, just suddenly, hey, Pat, why not let's just have a hard time breathing. Did 100% back in the day of the GC. Game us some bodilies. Oh, the kart racing stages are terrible for that too. All the Chow stuff you got to do. Like, it's a humongous bulk of bunch of content. Just an awful lot of it isn't terribly interesting, and you have to do it perfectly. Okay, alright, my brilliant plan falls apart if I get hit there. Yeah, I actually downloaded, because the Dreamcast has, you know, a modem in it, clear files for both games at some point, just to have fun with the secret. I'm trying to remember which one had the Green Hill Zone, and I forget what the other one had. Like, the other one had something that was completely and utterly uninteresting. Like, in both cases, like, the reward is pretty crap after all of that. But you could download full save games on Game FAQs at the time, which was pretty convenient. Was even looking again into how to get my Dreamcast online, because I think it'd be kind of fun if I could get it back online. And I have most of the stuff I need for it. I have a Raspberry Pi. I have a line inducer that I bought for another project that I haven't done yet. I just need a modem that would work on either Windows 98 or a Raspberry Pi, which are both things I probably want to own anyway, so... But since I have most of the tech to do it already, may as well. Dreamcast is goated, it's true. Car stage is the worst in the whole game. The mission is don't touch the cars, don't touch the walls. Oh, man. Battle had the Green Hills? Thank you. No, the original Dreamcast also had the Green Hill Zone. I think they both had the same rewards, ultimately. Rushed it. I forget what the first game had. Maybe it was you got to play as Supersonic and other... Like, you could walk around Station Square as Supersonic. Like, it was literally nothing. it was something so utterly uninteresting. At least the Green Hill Zone rendered in 3D is kind of cool. But, yeah. Metal Sonic, thank you. Yeah, it was not much. Especially because you could play as Metal Sonic in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Not touching the walls or other cars. I couldn't do that while I was playing. It's true only in versus mode. I imagine there might have been like some Game Shark cheat that would let you do it too, but doesn't help much. Ultimate reward for Bowser's Fury is the catsuit. Mario gets a reskin in the end. I mean, at least in the case of like Mario games, doing the 100% completionism usually gives you a disappointing reward. Like, I like Mario 64. But your reward for getting 120 stars is a triple jump that is worse. And I guess you get to see Yoshi, which is kind of cool. But that's it. Oh, and Yoshi gives you an infinite number of 1-ups, which you clearly no longer need. That's it. It's really not much of a reward. Sunshine, if you get all of the shines, heaven help you, you get Mario with sunglasses on. Like, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's worth it for its own sake, I suppose would be the best way to put it. Like, you have to really enjoy the game to want to do those things. Okay, these are red, so I actually want to go when they're up. Oh my. Okay, that works. Oh, no! Okay. Sunglasses after you beat Mario or unlock Run a Mountain. Is that it? Cheats like play as Metal Sonic. Okay. I mean, the new move is worse, though. It's a worse version of the triple jump. Get Mario with another outfit. The sunglasses you get after you beat Bowser. Okay. I may have forgotten how this is. And man, does the Black Shield break things even in versus mode? You managed to fly out of the stage outside of death zones in Green Forest just by going down a slope in Green Forest and flung yourself in high speed away. Clear the stage and account for insane speed build up. You have Metal Sonic. Oh, definitely not. But that's not surprising. Sonic games are not known to be of high build quality. I say as I'm playing Mario World, which is also known for its myriad of bugs. But especially 3D Sonics are known for being kind of glitchy and in a fun way. Like, I think I did it when I was playing Sonic 1, like, a couple years ago. I actually did the glitch where you get Tails into one of Sonic's stages. And that's a thing you can do for a lot of different levels, is get the wrong character into another stage. The one I remember being able to do, and remember how to do, was the first beach level that Sonic has. How to get Tails in there. It takes a little bit of finesse, but you just kind of wiggle him through the wall, like the roof of the... Oh, this is bad. This is red. At least I'm safe. But yeah, there's a sliding door. You can kind of like get him wedged in, and then it pushes you through the geometry, and then you end up outside the level a little bit, and you can use that to get to the loading zone. And the game doesn't check. It's just like, oh yeah, there's a loading zone. Tails can get in here, sure. Just say, like, a game with Sonic is hard to fix all the issues. Having a game that accounts for insane speeds is hard to work without issue, unlike Mario is more controlled. That is true. That is true. Especially in 3D. 3D math gets a lot harder. Like, the cycle isn't hard, I'm just being dumb. And impatient. Though an awful lot of this level is built off the concept of patience, which kind of sucks. Still, this P-Balloon sprite makes me happy, so I'm not that angry yet. That worked. As with the great number of things in life, going first works. Okay. This game does not like letting, this level does not like letting you have some safe spots to stand. I can imagine collisions being insane to work with Sonic speed. I mean, even in general, in like Mario, collisions are kind of tricky. I mean, as Mario 64 has a similar problem with the long backwards jumps, right? Like, they just didn't expect you to ever need or collect that much speed. And in Sonic, though, it's a lot easier to collect that much speed. Never load a save from Game FAQs and they're still available? Oh yeah, I guess they are. Game FAQs doesn't like delete stuff. The bigger problem is just like getting it on your Dreamcast nowadays. Like without dial-up, and almost nobody owns a Ethernet converter. They were rare at the time and expensive, and even more expensive now. Let's look it in. At least for Dreamcast. I imagine they'd work for other things too. Like they probably have saves for other things where getting them off the card was not that terribly difficult. I guess actually, yeah, there was that. There was a game saver thing that existed for PlayStation before they released the PS3 game save converter, whatever it was called. PS3 and some software emulation PS2. There you go. Yeah, what was that thing called? There was actually like a piece of hardware you could buy that worked on Windows, and you could use it to move save games over to other over the internet and then put them back when you were done. Kind of a cool concept. I always wanted one as a kid, but, you know, never found one, never got one. This is always, I briefly wanted one when I was aware of it, and then, you know, later on I got distracted and wanted something else. But now I actually own that technology. It is mine, it's sitting right over there somewhere. And of course it's official, PS branded, whatever, so. Only downside, I guess, is it didn't work with my third-party card that I had for like a million years, but worst comes to worst, I can copy the things onto the first-party card and then off the first-party card if I want to back them up. So, no harm, no foul. It's a very wide Rosa. Taking up Rosa and Rosa a space. Bleem? No, Bleem was an emulator. Turns out it was actually a proper emulator too, though, that certain games required, like, tuning. Bleem was cool, though. But it only worked for Gran Turismo. Like, just only that game. Which was just probably disappointing to a lot of people who thought they'd be able to play, like, Final Fantasy on Dreamcast. But apparently you could actually make it work. Dex drive with a serial port. I think that's it. The Dex drive. That sounds right. Like I said, this was a long time ago. Ah, dang it. But of course, it also depended upon you having a serial port, which was far more common back in the day. The serial port is actually one of the best ports. I do not know how many of you know this, but the serial port is truly one of the best ports of all time. I've used it so many times when doing projects in school, and it's just the most convenient way to interconnect things. It's just so easy. Get both sides to agree on a baud rate and what bit patterns you're sending, and it just sings. It's technology from the 1960s that just fucking works. Okay. I know better. I should just run off that. Like, jumping there is just bad. When you're going through a list of Sonic Adventure 2 bosses and stages, you actually come to appreciate King Boom Boom boss fight. Used to hate it back then, I think it was now. The most creative and boss-like boss fight in the game. Game has so many rival fights, which aren't great. No, those ones are the worst. Like having to fight Eggman and Tails is not fun. Why? Why did I do that? TI Graph Link. Yeah, that worked for that too, actually. Like, it's just a very simple thing to work with. Actually, incredibly silly hack I did so long ago. Took a physics class where the goal of the class was to wire up a computer. That was it. I took it because I needed one more credit of experimental physics and it counted. I got to take the class with my brother, which was fun. So we basically spent the time wiring up a 68,000 based little computer. So we did all the wiring by hand, cut all the wire lengths and all that. We were given the chips and the breadboards and whatnot. But by the end, we had a computer you could boot up, do some rudimentary programming for by typing things in on a keypad. But the last bit of the class was to produce just an elective thing. You just had to make something cool. And being that neither me nor him really had the time nor the inclination to spend time messing around with oscilloscopes or doing something cool that way, I went down to the hardware lab, borrowed an FPGA, and rigged it so that it could do the programming by hand after writing a much shorter bootloader in. This was acceptable. The guy didn't care for it because he wanted something aesthetic, but I'm like, look, neither of us have time for this, so this is what you get. And of course, the FPGA itself, could run a actual core that probably somewhere in the area of hundreds, if not thousands, times more powerful than that dinky 68,000. But still, it worked. And of course, it did all of the programming over the serial port, because that was just the easiest way to do it. I apparently do not understand my hitbox. Look, points is points. Other people took multiple afternoons to build this, and it took me all of about 30 minutes to rig this up because I had been doing FPGA classes. Did at least one FPGA class fairly recently during that. And I already had the IP for the serial thing lying around, so I think I just rigged it up so I could send, I rigged it up to a simple assembler. I don't even know if I did it that much. I think it might have just been you could type your bytes here in Notepad, which is marginally better. I hard-coded everything. I had C# handle some of the grittier bits. Software bits, but it was easy. It worked. Like I said, never underestimate the power of the serial port. That's the moral of the story you can take away from this stream. I can just stand here. Right, I have no idea how to do this part. Oh, that's how you do that part. Okay. Take a moment. Okay, I had the right idea, I just didn't execute correctly. I squared up, but I didn't follow through. Oh, I hope this section doesn't go much longer past that. Yeah, if I'd landed where I normally land, that would have been fine. Wasn't ready for it. Maybe one day I'll try some of the other 3D Sonics. I'd kind of like to see if it got any better. I did play a little bit of Heroes back in the day, but really not enough to really get into it. Don't know if I found the gimmick appealing enough to stick around. This is fine. And I can stand like right here. I don't know why I can stand right there, but it works. That was way too late. I'd love to see Sonic 06, but good. I think someone told me that there was a project like that someone's working on somewhere. It might even finish. I imagine just removing the loading times would probably increase people's appreciation of that game by a non-trivial amount. Bump. Recommend Unleashed. That's one I actually have played. I played the Unleashed on 360 back in the day, and I got a non-trivial number of those dang hot dog awards. Not the Eggman Land one. I think I got all of them but Eggman Land, because Eggman Land is Eggman Land. And no one got time to grind out Eggman Land. And I'm still kind of miffed at how that game ends. The press X 100 times not to die is not my favorite of the endings. Eggman Land is brutal. It's like I swear it took me like 45 minutes wall time. And by wall time, I mean what the game said I had been playing for. And that's with taking into account that it kind of fudges the time a bit. Whenever you die, it resets back to the old time. It still took forever, because there's a whole bunch of like heavy precision werehog climbing sections, in addition to all of the normal Sonic stuff you find in a final level. Like, it's just humongous. It's just honestly too much. Dark Gaia first phase was the hardest thing in that game next to Eggman Land? Oh. I don't remember the first phase of Dark Gaia. It has been too long. I just remember the last phase. I'm just gonna die again. I remember the last bit. I also remember playing a number of, oh god, there was a bit where you like have to do some like quick Sonic stuff, and you're on like a really strict time limit because I think like the floor is falling, and there's a section you have to do over and over, and at the beginning of it, every time you start that section, Sonic says something like, "Looking cool, Chip!" and that just got ground into my head. By the time I got to the press X 100 times not to lose, I was just completely and utterly checked out. And let's be honest, Chip does not look cool. Not in any incarnation. Chip is a weird fucking critter. It's like a chihuahua, but purple. Cute? Maybe. Cool? No. I wanted to give people a lot of allowance for cool at times, but Chip was never going to be cool. That one part? Okay, we're on the same page then. Punch play Sonic had to rush the box. Yes! Okay, so yeah, we are definitely on the same page. Like Chip in the game more than some of the newer characters? I don't even remember the other characters in that game, to be honest. Chip was the only one I remember, and it's not for good reasons. Like, I think pretty much all the other characters were eminently forgettable. Like, there was a professor, and I think he had a daughter or something. They didn't add, like, any new core Sonic characters. Like, Knuckles was somewhere, and Amy was somewhere. Tails was around, hanging out with the professor, doing professor-y things. But, again, I don't remember too much of the plot beyond Ancient Evil has awakened, you need to get all of the things. Oh no, you're a werehog. I think. Oh, and Chip, I think, turned out to be the Ancient Evil or something. Something weird like that. Would have been cooler if they got in Chaos to do it, though. Oh, with the new we meant Future, Lost World, and Deadly Six. Chip is the Ancient Good. I disagree. Dark Gaia is the Ancient Evil. You know, why don't we just let Dark Gaia win? You know, just once. Maybe it's okay. Like, maybe Chaos would have been okay if we just let him run amok. You know, just one city, maybe get out of his system, and just kind of hang out and chill, you know? You never know with Chaos. Chip's the guy supposed to fight the Dark Guy and bring him back to Earth? Okay. Like, I vaguely remember that he was also an important force, but, like, I didn't remember exactly how. You can forgive me for forgetting the plot to a Sonic game that was not terribly heavy on plot. And in fact, Sonic Unleashed best thing that it really added to the Sonic Pantheon is probably Rooftop Run. Even nowadays, I'm watching some YouTube videos some gamers edited together. I swear to God, Rooftop Run comes up far more often than you would ever expect it to. It's just a track that punches way above its weight. For an otherwise forgettable game. Whole thing with Chaos is you do want an event in the end, yeah. Oh, Dragon Road was also really good. Dragon Road had a good track. Like, those were the two, like, heavy hitters in my mind. Dragon Road and Rooftop Run. There might be others, but those were the two I distinctly remember. Playing like a trash can. Yeah, the music in the game was pretty good. Unleashed level design is pretty good, except Eggman Land. I mean, I think it was pretty good. It was probably hampered a bit by its engine. And I remember not having terribly a lot of fun with the Werehog stages. And there was also frame rate problems in the Werehog stages, just massive frame rate problems. I don't know if it was better in like the PS3 version, but in the Xbox 360 version, you might be lucky to get like 15 during certain fights. Maybe that's extreme, maybe 20. But like, you weren't getting the full 60 FPS you've come to expect. But the Sonic levels didn't have that problem. The regular Sonic levels didn't have that problem. There we go. Oh yeah, and the fight music. Right, it goes to like this jazz thing every time you get into a fight. It would have been better just to keep the stage music the whole time. Yeah, I can just wait there a little bit. That's probably the play. That vaguely jazzy thing. I think what they might have been going for was kind of like what Kingdom Hearts does, where Kingdom Hearts like has battle music that starts up in every area. But I think the battle music is unique in every area, and so that makes it a lot more tolerable. Well, unique to every world, I think. At least it isn't a short loop and it slapped. I don't know, I felt like that one I definitely got tired of by the end. It was just a bit too much, given how much time you spent fighting as Werehog, compared to shimmying along very narrow, like, what's the word I'm looking for, like, gutters, ledges. Need to duck jump? No, duck jumping there wouldn't have made a difference. Like, I think I would have been happy with that if it had been like a boss theme, or if they'd gone, like I said, the Kingdom Hearts treatment would have been nice, because they had such a variety of areas in Unleashed. Like, the Greek-designed areas could have given rise to some really interesting music for the fight. They actually started with this idea in Chrono Trigger, where they would have different battle musics in different time periods, but they gave up on that one, unfortunately. And the other one we have left, I think, is the prehistoric version, which is actually pretty decent, though I don't really blame them for ditching the idea. Hated More was the Save Jasmine. I do not recall that. It has been far too long. I'm gonna guess it's a mission where you're dealing with an NPC that has the survival instinct of the common house flea. Common house plant, perhaps. The one I always think of course, is the Princess Teta mission. I think it's Teta in FFT. We're talking NPCs that have a death wish. And your only thing you have to do in the level is make sure they don't die. And they're somehow terrible at it. Oh, that was a bad time to do that. Nope, that was perfectly fine to do that. I think there might be some weirdness with the hitboxes of the upside-down lava lotus buds. I think. Like, I'm definitely noticing places where I feel I should get hit, but I'm not getting hit. But I'm also not wanting to complain because upside-down lava lotuses are not fun. It's a time mission with very sadistic sprite layout in arid sands, with one of the most strict time limits in the game. Basically, have to be fast, make all the shorts you can, or you won't make it. Oof. Yeah, that does sound awful. I would not recommend. Ook. That reminds me I should message Squiggles before I go to bed. And the dude who made the ďarkpridian, or whatever his name is. So I want to accept his hack, just to not have it on my plate. There we go. Ah, no! Jasmine. You have to save Jasmine, who is a character who I don't recall what her deal was. I'm gonna guess it was the professor's kid. Or Sonic's love interest. One or the other. I don't remember enough of the plot of that to make a good inference. I think after this one, though, I may need to get up. After this life, I may need to get up and have a stretch break. I'm gonna just check this one in Lunar Magic. Vis-a-vis pipes. Get in there. NPC in town next to Arid Sands. It was optional. Oh, okay. Another one was a Kung Fu mission in Dragon Road. Doing a big chunk of the level was a harder layout and not getting hit once. Oh boy. Well, I brought it back. Not perfect, but I brought it back. Okay. Alright, like I said, I think I need a quick stretch break and bathroom break. I'll be right back. Enjoy this nice track. Unleashed likes to surprise you with obstacles as you run at high speed. Due to its trolling nature. Ah, okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember some stuff like that, where you'd like, Sonic would end up digging his feet in, it would look weird whenever you hit something. It's good to be back. Good to be back. I'm optimistic. I think we can get this one. I might have to leave the next two for later. But if we do this, we'll have beaten all of the ones that aren't the mole one and aren't the castle one. Which, honestly, my expectation for this stream was I was going to spend almost all the time in that dang cape level. Which has turned out to be pleasantly not correct. Like, I feel if I get through this part consistently big, I have a good shot at getting to the end. Just because you can only have a level so long, so many screens in. Oh yeah, there's a ton of QTEs. You had to always be QTEing to, like, build your boost bar. So every time you, like, went through a loop or something, you'd get a random set of buttons to press. You'd be standing in the air, and then Sonic would go, yeah, after you press the correct 3 buttons. I only imagine if I focused. Yeah. Not sure how much focusing would have helped with the cape level. Actually, it probably would have helped a lot. This is what Fries is saying, is he'd prefer it if I just moderate offline. Bring up the speed of the whole thing, because he'd like to get his hack moderated quickly, because he's actually Yogui. One of the games that was so insanely fast in Eggman Land, if you miss it, you died and needed it for a hot dog mission. Like, I was willing to go through an awful lot in that game, but the hot dog missions, after, like, all of them except Eggman Land, I was done. I put in a lot of work in that game. Probably too much work in that game, for what it was worth. It was only a rental, too. Like, I'd rented it, so I don't actually own it, which is kind of unfortunate now that I, could have easily just bought it. And Sonic games are just fun to have around. At least in this level, Fries, I have plenty of spots where I have to stop and wait. And can easily read chat while waiting for the lava lotuses to align. Ah, nope. Nope. Up. Good luck trying to find it. One clue is there's a lot of trolls. It's a lot of trolls. But is it a troll hack, though? A hack could have a lot of trolls without necessarily being a troll hack. I mean, honestly, Fries, if I wanted to... Well, actually, let me think for a moment. Do you have an account on SMW Central? I don't actually know if you do. Even then, there's... Yeah, nope. Things I'm not mentioning on stream. Anyway. Yes, you do. Okay. I could theoretically figure it out using other means, but I do not feel like that would be sporting. There we go. There's a lot of trolling moments and it's not perfect. It did at least control, mostly cool. Didn't mind the werehog game much. Unless you were balancing on city skyscrapers, I was a bit concerned. Yeah, I could narrow it down by IP range, that's true. Take it over Lost World any day. Also, fair. My understanding was like Lost World was completely rushed out the door. Like, they didn't do any QA, which is just a huge bummer. Or was it Rise of Lyric, the Sonic Boom one? I've heard good things about Colors. That's another one like I'd like to play at some point. And I remember having fun with the Sonic levels of the Sonic Color levels of Generations. Those were actually fun. Some of those levels in Generations left something to be desired, but most of them were pretty good. Lost World is not the Boom one? Okay. I must have just, like, completely blanked that one out. I don't think I know anything about it. Guess it's probably for, like, Wii. I guess! Oh, I just should have tried to dodge there. Mario Galaxy ripoff? That's at least intriguing. Game is either boring or, hey, let's kill the player randomly for no reason. Oh, that's bad. That's not fun. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. Like, no one actually sets out to release a bad game. Most people don't set out to release bad games, even if they do work for Sega. So it does make you wonder how it could have how these sorts of things happen. Other than, of course, complete rushing and no QA. Which probably explains like 90% of them, honestly. And probably have like 10% for highly ambitious, but you were too ambitious. And you couldn't actually deliver on this in any way, shape, or form. Gotta go? Alright, see you later, Matt. Have fun in class. Or at home. Homing attack in the game is horrid. You also get a double jump, which you have to use, which is triggered by the same button. Oh, that's bad. Like, the homing attack, having a homing attack and having a double jump are both nice things in a Sonic game. But, that being said, having them on the same button is just a recipe for disaster. Homes on enemies way behind you. Oh, that sounds hilarious in all the wrong ways. All the wrong ways. Yeah, homing attack jank just is not fun in general. Best avoided if the game will allow it. That's a big if. Let's see, there's the ninja. Right, gotta just go. How do you feel about having two different homing attacks, which are different on enemies where you have to use the game telling you about it? If you hit the big fat backseat button, use the wrong homing attack. Wait, what? I'm gonna have to read that again. That did not kern for me. Also, how do you feel about having two different homing attacks, which are different on enemies you have to use? The game only telling you about it if you hit the big fat backseat button. Okay. And use the wrong homing attack on the right enemy. Yeah, I don't feel good about that at all. That's really bad design in multiple ways. For some reason, I was reading that as you have to hit the big fat backseat button for it to work at all. Like, that's the button that does homing, and I missed that the first read through. That sounds bad. How do you have two different kinds of homing attack? Like, do they home differently? Is one of them more like the light speed dash? Like, how does that even work? Also, why? Why would you feel the need to have two of those? One is plenty. Oh, I've lost that feel there. To that day you don't understand running in that game? Not understanding running in a Sonic game is a serious problem. Oh, wall running. Wall running can often be inconsistent in Sonic games. It really depends. It really depends. Hit different ways and only work on certain enemies. Weird. That feels unnecessary. It's like games that add elemental systems for no apparent reason and don't make very good use of them. Some RPGs just need to have an element system even though you don't ever use it. That's... I was briefly confused. I'm like, I know how to do this part. Why am I having trouble? Okay. Just gonna wait. Alright, cool. And first cycle. Or not. Or jump! Oh, so dumb. Also, you know you got a quality game when it showers you and one-ups in one level just to have a later level that constantly instantly kills you with confusing and janky gimmicks. That sounds like my Sonic. How you doing, Pep-Pebs? It's a Rosalina stream? Yeah, we've got Rosalina as a new character. If you look at the character change reward thing, I got a bunch of new ones added in. Turns out several of them were not as difficult to add as I thought they would be, and so I just did it. I sat down like Sunday afternoon last week and just did it. It was nice. Did I play any ninja levels? In this game? Or in general? Like I did moderate one of the ninja hacks someone made. I forget what's his name. Like Super Ninja Land 2. But specifically now, I don't think so. Died too much to give you a level skip. Okay. That's not good. The ninja speedrun levels. I think the answer is probably yes, depending upon where they are in the game, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm drawing a blank. This hack is long, and there's been a lot of gimmicks. A lot of gimmicks. And so I'm gonna say I do not remember specifically. I'm near endgame, so it's possible that the ninja speedrun thing is ahead of this, in this hack, and I haven't played it yet. Or it's so far behind that I forgot, because I've been on this moderation for like, not quite a month, but it's been a while. Oh, SMW ones? Okay. Okay, definitely got me confused. This hack has so many gimmicks. It would not surprise me if, in fact, there is a later level where you race a ninja. Honestly. Well, we're getting past that part consistently big now. There we go. And now it's this. What? I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I should just jump over all of that nonsense. Not exactly standalone hacks. I've definitely seen like a few different race levels. I want to say there was one in Jump, but I don't remember it being implemented like specifically with a ninja. I think that one was you just had to get far enough ahead of a flying Koopa? Yeah, flying Koopa, so that you could eat it with a Yoshi later. But I must say, this is a genre of hack I am ignorant of. But I am aware that like there is a gimmick. There's some gimmick race ASMs out there. I just don't know that much about them. Do you have an example, out of curiosity? On SMW Central or somewhere else? Don't think they actually include ninja. They're just called ninjas. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I am unaware of this. I'm unaware of a lot of things, to be frank. I shouldn't have done that, but also I don't care so much about being big getting into the next section because of what just happened here. Oh, wait. Almost worked. Levels are active for like 2 weeks, and you submit a score. 10-player speedrun board. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a bit like ROM Hack Races, except not live, and you get some time to workshop your times. Those are fun. I haven't done one in a long time because my Saturdays have been busy-ish. Would like to do it again. It's been far too long. But every time there's one that's my speed, I don't have the time to do it. Yeah, I'm curious. Drop a link. I'd love to see this. Just see something outside of the norm SMW stuff, if you happen to have a link to where these leaderboards are. Unless it's like a secret underground thing, in which case, yeah, it's cool. I can live without being cool enough to see it. I have enough underground privilege already for other things. I don't need more. Doot, doot. Ow. Well, like I said, I guess I don't care as much about getting here in big and... Like, we're fine here. I'm not good at Ninja Wiggle. Can't really give an example yourself, sadly. See if your friend has a link. Alright. Yeah, if you want me to drop one here, I don't know if you're in my Discord, but I'm always curious to see interesting things. And that definitely qualifies as something of interest. Kind of wondering if I should just stop the stream right now and go color a dinosaur. I don't want to color a dinosaur. Oop. Careful. I get the feeling there's probably like 2 more obstacles after that bit I've seen. That's my instinct with this. Then again, I thought that the Bumpty level was going to end a lot sooner, so... Who doesn't want to color dinosaurs at 3 a.m.? I mean, honestly, I kind of want to download the There Are No Dinosaurs hack of it just to play it. Even though I know it's dumb. There are no dinosaurs. Alright, it's time for extra beverage. What's actually good is tonight, unlike yesterday, I don't actually have work to do after this. We're probably going to do a big deploy tomorrow, which will be a pain, but I finally got all my stuff working for it, so at least I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. for me. It is hella late at night. I am a hella late at night streamer. The vast majority of people who watch me are either European or insomniacs. European, Asian, or insomniacs. Some combination of those things. It's just how it kind of worked out. Yes, you are in my future. But it's okay. I'll get there eventually. I've got all the time that I need. Time is on my side. Time and dinosaurs. No, okay. No, that didn't work. Maybe just run. Just try and get P-speed that way by running through that section. I guess, no, I'm not on the ground long to get P-speed. Like, do I need to square up and try to get... No, God, that's a really tight jump. All of those. Yep. What's up, Nathan? How you doing? We discussed you earlier, but it kind of petered out into a mockery of Ryanair. I was declaring it to be the airline of choice for when you want to go beat someone's ass. Because, you know, when you're flying to beat someone's ass in Europe, you don't need to take luggage or anything, so you can fly pretty light, and you can save a lot of money by flying Ryanair. Ah, jumping too high. Don't say another word. Though honestly, I'm kind of jealous. Getting flights that cheap, even if they are awful, is kind of a nice feature. But I'll be honest, I also don't want to take flights that cheap. Otherwise, I'd go on Spirit Airlines or whatever, the really garbage one we have here. Had to book a flight through our flight ordering system at one of my workplaces once, and it was determined to get me on Spirit Air. And I'm like, I don't want to fly Spirit Air. I really don't want to take a layover to get from Seattle to LA. That's stupid. Conveniently, though, I wasn't required to... I was allowed to massage the parameters such that I could exclude that flight implicitly, though not explicitly. And flew on my preferred carrier, which was Virgin America at the time. Since folded into Alaska, which was a huge bummer for everybody involved, because that was, like, the only good airline. And if you were regularly flying to California, it was the way to go, honestly. Ryanair is the thing, if you're flying on... Only a short time, stuff like meals, yeah, exactly. Like, if you're on a 2-hour flight, you can put up with the fact that you're not getting a drink on the plane, or that your carry-on has to weigh less than 15 pounds, or whatever other rules, extra checked bag, luggage. But if you're only going somewhere for like half a week, who cares? And if you want a drink, get one at the airport. It'll probably be better anyway. I keep finding new and worse ways to do this section. Yeah, other thing about it is, like, on the West Coast, unless you're going to the West Coast, all of your flights are going to be long. So most of the time when I'm flying, I generally want to go on a provider I don't actually hate, like Alaska instead of, say, United. I had to take a United flight a while ago. I went to my brother's graduation in Ohio. When was that? That was last year, damn. Time flies. Like spring last year. But Alaska canceled my return flight, and instead I had to fly, drop lower there. That's what I need to do. I had to fly Alaska. Or had to fly United. And the weirdest thing about United, one, no direct flight, of course, because they don't do direct flights to Seattle. So I had to take a layover in Denver. But two, I couldn't buy a drink on the plane. Like, I have a credit card and I had cash. I could not buy a drink without using their fucking app, which required Wi-Fi to use, because it constantly would rotate out the little PayPal sticker. Like, it was just a terribly implemented idea. And even though you have this app, you couldn't actually order drinks through it. No, they just could only scan the app to prove you paid for things. It was just such a bad idea. It's amazing. Like, I'm just gobsmacked that anybody thought, yeah, this is smart. But alas, the best recourse, of course, is just to not fly United if you can avoid it, which I do. Yeah, exactly, fuck that. I eventually got it working on my next flight, but it was a huge pain. Had to tether my phone through my computer, or my phone through my computer. Yes, the direction is correct. And it was just a mess. Surprised, after having informed yourself a little more, surprised I don't know about Ninja, an SMW specific thing, streamer specific thing. Well, I don't usually race all that much. Like, while I play an awful lot of SMW, it's almost all in the context of either playing level design contest levels or doing moderation. So there's just an awful lot I don't do. Like, I don't play nearly as much Kaizo as I really should. Like, I'm certain if I was a better Kaizo player, I would not be having trouble with this level, for instance. Because I would know what to do when I got to that weird one-tile gap. But I just don't. And, you know, I'm one of the lucky few you get to inform about this kind of thing, which is always nice. Being cured of ignorance and curing ignorance both feel good. Yeah, spin jump is right there. Those ninja levels are largely in the German community. There's a few non-Germans involved. Oh, okay. That would explain a lot in terms of accessibility of these things, because I don't speak a lick of German outside of being able to say, like, do you speak German? And I am an airplane. And I am a potato. And I am a jelly donut. All of which are basically the same sentence, just with a different noun swapped out. But yeah, there's a bunch of smaller SMW communities that, like, you don't interact necessarily directly with on SMW Central. So, like, the Portuguese-speaking community kind of just keeps to itself, though it does submit hacks. They do submit hacks to SMW Central. But they have their own Discord that they manage and have a fun time with. The Japanese SMW ROM hackers have their own, like, image board where they post their stuff. So you don't generally see that. I understand there's also, like, a specifically Mexican ROM hacking community, but I know almost nothing about it. Except that it exists. And it's on a forum somewhere. Just like a pro board or whatever have you, one of those types. One sec. Much better. yeah, there's an awful lot of communities and things you'd never guess unless you knew exactly where to look. Especially now that so much of it happens through, like, Discords. Unlike, say, the IRC days, we could still go through and look at all of the channels on a given server. For Discord, like, there's some discoverability, but most servers don't want you discovering them all that easily. You have to find the blessed link, or else you won't be able to join. I'm not sure if there's any other ones I'm aware of that are, like, out there. But I think the Japanese one is definitely the weirdest one, using an image board instead of something else. But the Japanese do love their image boards. And I kind of do too, actually. I like image boards. Something nice about the anonymous posting and the ephemeral nature of them. And of course the fact that you can post images easily, which an awful lot of message boards had problems with for a number of years and still do. Or why we have a bunch of, what, Image Shack? Photo Glare? I forget what the, like, Photo Bucket. That was the other big one. Links that are all dead now. Because those services died. Cannot believe I made that mistake again. Okay. I really want to beat this part. But I'm also on a relatively straight sleep schedule, so I don't have that many more attempts left in me, unfortunately. After Comic-Con, I was on a reasonable sleep schedule for a bit. Wait, I'm using Comic-Con thing. I don't think I told anybody on stream about this. I didn't go to this, but my sister and her friends do like to do, like, the photo ops with some celebrities. And one of them, I forget who his name was. I didn't know who he was. The other one was the dude who plays the Hulk, aka Mark Ruffalo. And I suggested that she ask if he was aware of Ordinary Sausage's Mark Ruffalo scale of Will It Blow. Because that's the only thing I could think of in relation to Mark Ruffalo. She unfortunately did not ask Mark Ruffalo if he was aware of this. But, you know, with those photo ops, you only have like a minute anyway. Who needs 2chan when you have SMW-chan? I mean, it works. Like I said. And there's 2cha and 2chan, which I always get mixed up, have produced some notable artifacts over time. Like Densha Otaku was a series of posts on one of those image boards that got turned into a Japanese serial drama, which was pretty cool back in the day. It's about a dude who stops a train groper and gets his life in order so he can try to date the woman who was going to get groped, who turned out to be like a famous lady or something. It was a cute little story. I don't think I ended up watching or reading the whole thing. Okay. What the hell does the game want out of me here? I tried going over. I don't think I can get enough P speed to go over. I thought I could square up and end up right there. Where the bullets spawn, I'm safe if I'm on the ground there, so it's still possible. Looking at where the red bullets go from there, that spot on the left of the plant is not safe from that specific spitting plant. So I have to go relatively quick afterwards, which means I'm looking at 2 cycles here, which is not fun. But I don't know. Hi, this level doesn't look familiar at all. I beat the cape level, I beat the water and gun level, and I beat the bump D level. And so now we're on to the gravity and piranha plant level. How you doing, Habaluta? Follow age, it's, you've been following for about, 2.5 years. There we go. Thank you, that's more accurate. You have not played this room, okay. Thought 4chan was depraved and then you learned about the others. Yep. I did the Bazooka level. The Bazooka level was fun. I did that right after I finished Cape, and that was actually a good time. It's the kind of thing I could get my bot to do, I just haven't felt the need to. That room was really good. I don't know what to do when I get to that part of this room. Like, I legitimately do not know. There's only two options I can see, one of which is do a really precise jump. And the other is I get P-speed and go over the top. And I don't know what it wants me to do. And my attempts to do one have not been very successful, because under upside-down gravity jumping is hard. Actually, you know what? I have a third option. I could try to ride the plant. It's not the most elegant of solutions, but I could theoretically use the plant to get more lift. And that might get me around where I'm struggling. I didn't even think about that before this moment. That does seem to be a theme of this level, is A-jumping on upside-down plants. So it could work. Conceivably. Or inconceivably, I'm not really picky. A little bit too early there. Well, he was nothing. That was nothing. Cursed Balloon. Actually, I think this is one of my... I like the Rosalina one more than you would expect. My favorite one is still, what is it? Not Marissa. Maria. Where she just holds the balloons. It's much cuter. But this one, the Star Rosalina, at least is, you know, thematic. But seriously, anybody, I'm definitely open to suggestions about what to do when I get to that last obstacle again. Because my ideas have so far been bad. All of them have been bad. Like, that upside-down jump is really precise. Maybe it's a two-tile gap? I think it's a two-tile gap, so I can't just run across it. Could this be a point where the game is reset? I mean, you can always reset the game. I don't think it's going to matter too much to me. Like, where we are at right now, in terms of progression, is I've been stalled out on this one obstacle for, like, half an hour. While I built a certain amount of consistency. So, like, it's not a complete loss. But, alright. Here's the obstacle. How would you do this? You've helped enough today? Thanks, Fries. Use Piranha Plant looks correct. You may want to give yourself some speed, more height before mounting it. Yeah, it could be. I feel like with this pipe right here, it's trying to prevent that as cheese. Like, this isn't a Kaizo level. You do something dumb. Oh, yeah, actually, no, that worked. Thank you. It was there, I just did not. Okay. Yep, okay. That turned out to actually not be that hard. Yes, the Astif is definitely warranted there. I did that so poorly. You jump over. Jumping over worked. I think I just misread that obstacle. I really thought you wanted to jump into that, but it just, yeah, it's too short of a jump. It's a weird jump to do upside down. If the munchers weren't there, I think you could do it, conceivably. Or at least if the munchers were like one tile lower. If that makes sense, if there's another set of brown blocks. But there isn't, so... Okay. Technically, there's more than one way to get through there. You just took the reasonable option. Doing great for your first playthrough. Thanks, Fries. Haven't shared that one? I'm curious now. I'm so used to doing that one way that when I got it a different way, I was not expecting it. I am curious what this is other than a, like, general noobish insult, since there appears to be more story behind it. But yeah, I read that obstacle hella wrong. I'm getting impatient. Alright. I'm listening to this in one ear. That's fantastic. Was that his first playthrough? I actually don't know enough about what Barb actually does to know. The difference is I know this is my first playthrough, so it doesn't really hit me like it hit Barb, apparently. There we go. His second or third? Okay, fair enough. I know I spin jump there. What? I know what to do. I just have to get there again. That's actually pretty funny. What am I doing? Oh, man. Actually, what game was that? I just realized I didn't actually look at the screen while it was happening. I just listened. It kind of looked like the newer Zelda. The Breath of Wild things. Where the wild breath is. Deuces Wild. The game. Twilight Princess? Oh, okay. Older then. Definitely older then. That makes more sense. Would have expected Barb to probably have played that on release. Though not necessarily on stream, because I have no idea how long it's been streaming, but certainly not that long. Well, that wasn't how I meant to do it, but it worked. Oh, HD also makes a difference there, I suppose. No! I panicked. Barb's stream is so weird. I mean, an awful lot of streams on Twitch are pretty weird. Like, Orator's stream is a fever dream if you're not used to that kind of thing. It works for that bald man. Whereas other streams can be pretty normal, like, I don't know, Juzz's stream. Juzz's stream is really normal as far as I can tell. Just, you know, people hanging out, watching Juzz beat a troll level, or whatever the hell he's doing this week. Playing StarCraft or something. He was doing something weird, wasn't he? I think I saw that he was streaming the other day, but I didn't have time to watch him. He was streaming something that wasn't like SMW or troll levels. Don't remember what. So... Aura's your second home. Aura's stream is the only stream that makes sense. Basically, a bunch of us laughing at his screaming. Fair enough. Today was South Park. Thank you! That's what it was. Was it wait, which South Park? There's like 3 South Park games, I think. There's like, the one for N64. I think there was one for N64. And then the 2 RPGs, Stick of Truth and The Fractured Butthole. The shooter one. Had N64 port? Okay. That makes more sense. Had to cheat the final boss. Oof. Understandable, but oof. 2 for N64, Love Shack. You know, so the thing is, I didn't play that many N64 games. And if I had, I probably still at that age would not have been allowed. If I did have an N64, I definitely would have been allowed to have. Definitely wouldn't have been allowed to have a South Park game. So... mostly because such video games were played out in the open. Got the shooter and it sucked. Why was he playing it then? Like, not because it sucks or anything, just like, that's an odd thing to just pick up and play. I mean, I'm one to talk, but still. Like, did you lose a bet? Tiramisu has made the first one. Raised Mormons? Yes. Was raised in the Mormon church. A million years ago. Alright, let's try to not be dumb here. Give it a minute. Well, it's also because, like, the TV was in the family room. We didn't have more than one TV at the time. Well, I had two, but, like, one was in one room, one was in the other. You know, being big here would just be a liability. Fuck. Yeah. Like I said many years ago, I stopped caring because I could choose to sleep in on Sundays. When I could make that choice for myself, I stopped caring. 100%. Nothing fancy, no. And it was enlightened by my own euphoria or any of that shit. Just, nope. Sleeping on Sundays, the allure, too much. I even did the seminary thing for a number of years, for like two and a half years. I do not understand why anybody thinks that's a good idea outside of Utah. I had to get up at like 5 o'clock to get to do that. It was nonsense. Let teenagers sleep, for fuck's sake. School should not start until actually like 9 o'clock. Possibly 10. This is fine. I actually went to a stand-up comedy thing the other day. And afterwards, talked to the guy who suggested I go see it, because he worked there. I was like, what it kind of felt like was people using this for therapy, honestly. It reminded me of the Mormons' fast and testimony meeting, where like people get up and kind of talk about what they've been doing recently and how their faith is and getting up and crying. And of course, like you get little kids who get up and say, I love Jesus, and that's cute. And short. Very short, which is nice. As opposed to people who basically, it's the only time of the week anyone has to listen to them. And so they will talk for a long-ass time about something children just do not care about. I always dreaded it because it meant we didn't get to have breakfast before church. And it was really boring. At least the regular talks could, be somewhat interesting. But Fast and Testimony meeting was very unedited. And not in the good way. Okay. Do I have a jump? Not even judging, it's shocking with how logical I am. People of all stripes. You never know what you're going to find. I'm definitely not practicing now as a person who is playing Mario at 3 in the morning and still has a non-trivial amount of cider left. Mother would say it's way too late. Get up at 3 a.m. to go to work. Ugh. Early bird and she hates you stay up later. Oh, man. Roommate sophomore year of college was Mormon? Huh? That could be either good or bad. Really depends. At least they won't steal your... Oh, it's unlikely they'll steal your beer. Less likely. Of course, there's just an old, like, recycled snow clone joke. Why do you take 2 Mormons when you go fishing? If you only take one, he'll drink all your beer. Didn't matter, he was pretty cool. Oh, nice. It's always good when you get good roommates. Especially when you don't have as much choice, especially in the earlier years of college. I actually, God. Whoever put my first college roommate up, had a weird sense of humor because he had the same last name as me. Nice guy, though. Wanted to be pre-med, but didn't quite have the GPA for it. But did actually participate in marching band and stuff, so I got to hear some fun stories. We actually played through a non-trivial amount of Kingdom Hearts 2 together. That was also fun. He had a PS2. But the copy I own is actually from that time. Ended up buying the whole thing off him at some point. Alright, here we go. Oh, so that's how you get up there. Where'd you missionary travel? I did not. No. I did not do that. That takes too much work. And had I done that, most likely where I would have been sent would have been Brazil. Basically, everybody I knew ended up going to Brazil. At that time. Except my brother. My brother stayed in the United States when he did his mission. Not to say that... Yeah, he stayed in the United States. I think that's as much as I'm going to say about his life there. Too much PIA. You know how that goes. And I will read more when I get to another sitting spot. There's a lot of sitting spots in this stage. Oof. Big anime fan and a very good program. Oh, nice. Holy Matters E-Force, yeah. Philosophy major, so had occasional discussion, good time. Nothing like good old conversation, hard problem with conscious. College conversations are just a lot of fun because they're just people who wanted to discuss things like that. You don't find that nearly as much anymore. You don't find that outside of that environment as much, which is something I can say I miss. I can't remember the last time I had an argument about the valid, dynamic versus static typing or any of the other good old CS arguments. Pat was my roommate? No. I wasn't actually an anime fan that much at the time. Don't remember watching any anime my freshman year. Sophomore year, I might have watched an anime with my sophomore roommate who was a humongous nerd, but was also like a really smart guy and decent around. He had a weird economic situation happening, and he knew it and was exploiting it to the absolute fullest. Basically, his mom was dirt poor, and he had run the numbers and realized that the longer he stayed in school, the better off she was, and it also helped that he liked being in school. So he was not only double majoring, but like triple majoring and double minoring, or double degreeing, which is even sillier. He had like a double major and a double degree. To be fair, things like chemical engineering and chemistry have massive overlaps, and so that's not that bad. I think he got chemistry, and a math degree, if I recall correctly. And then a couple minors. I don't remember if he got a minor in physics or what. But we mostly just watched downloaded Simpsons, if we'd watched anything together. And had Thai food because he was half Thai. And he'd complain that if I went with him, his curry was less spicy. Which is probably true. There we go. Big problem right now is like half the things I want to do with this level I have to do first cycle, otherwise I will not make them. I don't know what I've changed, but I'm not getting through that part consistently big again, anymore. Perfect. Sketchy, but it works. 7, you first leave college and learn that most adults don't talk about anything serious. Yup. It is a bummer. It is truly a bummer. No, no. If I'd gone first. We're now at the curse of the balloon that isn't actually... that's upside down, but not backwards. In other news, this hack was upgraded to very hard at some point. Don't know how that happened. Other than, you know, Yogui actually said this should happen, so I just went and did it. Kind of figure it's better for people who download this to know what they're getting, especially if that was the author's intent. Even though it has not finished moderation. Oop. Damn it. Only fact you know about Mormons, they live longer than Loma Linda vegans. Huh. I must confess, I do not believe I've heard you say that, because I feel like I remember the phrase Loma Linda vegans. I do not know what a Loma Linda vegan is. I presume it's a vegan from that specific place, rather than a specific class of veganism. Because I don't know about, like, I want to say level 3 vegan is like a thing that the Simpsons came up with, and not an actual thing. Or freegan vegan, where like you won't eat anything that hasn't been thrown away. I believe that was something that Parks and Rec might have invented. I'm not really sure. I do know that's how you get a Waluigi board, is you buy one from a Witcher vegan, though. Not sure which kind of vegan, but you know. Nah, I just clipped my jump there. That's all I have to do. It's a California town. That does explain some things. Wish I could do that big. Not enough. We'll wait another cycle. Okay. Little pig. California town? Okay. Are they known for living long in that town? I just legit do not know anything about this. Okay. Down, right. I'm glad I took a moment there. Oh, balloon! Oh, okay. Dear Lord. Do-do-do. There's a lot of towns in California. We were discussing actually that yesterday because the Eureka dungeon exists, and Eureka is a town in California that I have driven through at least twice. It does have a really nice sign declaring that it's Eureka across the street from a gas station. It's not a very big town. I think I stopped there to eat the second time I went through. Is Eureka in Orange? Not Orange County. It's in incandescent light bulbs, is what it is. So you can make an argument it's orange, but it's not really orange. It's just the incandescent light bulb glow, so kind of more yellowy. Could look up the exact spectrum, but I don't feel the need to. Yeah, I think because I kind of cheated my way through this particular section here, I never learned how to balloon properly with gravity. Which may come back to bite me later. In the longer balloon section. Okay. Home to a bunch of Seventh-day Adventists and vegans. What an odd combination. What an odd combination. That's not usually a thing I think together. The religiously inclined and vegans usually don't mix that much. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, especially Seventh-day Adventists, I don't even remember what they do. Which offshoot of Protestantism they are. You know, I was so panicked about the fact that I fell off, I didn't even realize it wouldn't matter. Okay. I am so glad that those bubbles aren't getting me nearly as much as they should. Okay. Down is up and up is down. Right is still right, though. Okay, down is down. Down is up. I have time. I think I have time. Okay. I don't like what I'm seeing. I'll be frank. No, I like what I'm seeing. That worked out. Okay. It's another bit of stress down. Oh. I'm gonna have spent like 5 fucking hours in this level. Let me see that beautiful star on that. Yep, Night Tiramisu still beaten. Gravity plants beaten. Alright, let's spend a few minutes on DarkDark Castle. Freedom! Not nearly enough freedom, sadly. The Thwomp is not happy to be featured in this. Was that? Ah! Rosalina in a red dress? Yeah! Fireflower Rosalina. Looks sexy. Oh, it does. You recognize the song? Probably because it's a Toho song. I think last time someone noted that this was a Hooded Edge port, or it's a Castlevania song that has some Toho in it. That's it, it's a Castlevania song that has some Toho in it because Hooded Edge, of course. This is what was getting me. Oh, well, that was easy. Oh, right. I remember now. I'm just really bad at timing these lightning clouds. Oh. Thank you for the good luck. How you doing? Get yo pops. What kind of pops? Corn pops? Don't know. I've been nerd sniped by this. I haven't had corn pops in forever. Not entirely certain I would like them anymore. I've always been a Raisin Bran person. Bloody tears. My eyes are so bloody, bloody tears. Lomo is not pig, but it can confer to the meat of one? Huh. Alright, well, sleep well, Weregoose. Don't think it's going to be terribly long before I follow your lead, to be frank. I'm happy I got 4 of the exits done. These thundercloud things are bad for me. I walked into that. They're also on like a global timer, so I can't just hold right from the get-go here. I always have to wait to see what's going to happen with the thunderclouds. And I'm always like 2 frames early. At least I figured out how to deal with this thing. Probably. Probably. All good, you can raid Aura. Oh man, I don't know if you were around when I had that really dumb idea. This was when I was playing Rama like a couple of years ago, and I stated that one day I would do a stream where all I did was harvest all the melons in that game, and then raid Orator. And that's all I would do in that stream. There was nothing else. I would just get as many melons as possible, and then raid Orator. And I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, or possibly even why it was funny at the time. But it was something I decided I really wanted to do. I never actually did it, to be fair. I really want to at least see the inside of this pipe. It even procced. Please tell you, I did not. I never did. I think we discovered that there was a limit to the melon storage that was a lot smaller than we expected. I think. I don't remember. And I'd have to, if I wanted to do this, I'd have to borrow the discs from Snyder again, or find a copy on archive.org because I don't have it on me. Rama was fun. I can't think of another game where quite literally when you die, the author of the book comes out and says, "Wow, you're a moron." Well, except for probably... Actually, no, I take that back. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream kind of has that going on, but that's just because Larry... or Harry, whatever his name is. The guy who wrote the book, the story, also voices one of the important characters. We made it in the pipe. Terrifying. Okay. I think with that, I am calling it for today. We made a non-trivial amount of progress. I never have to go to the Cape level again. We verified that it's saved because we reset the game and it still worked a few times. And yeah, we made progress. There's still 2 more to go, and I have to go get that last moon, which I don't have yet.